Affected are Alabama A&M, Auburn University, the University of Alabama, and Tuskegee University. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
A Boaz man is being held without bond in DeKalb County after authorities say that he tried to sexually abuse an 8-year-old girl. 25-year-old Herman Ordonez Salez is facing charges of attempted sodomy and child sex abuse. He's also being held for federal immigration officials in order to determine if he's here in the U.S. illegally. An Alabaster man has been sentenced to 130 years in prison for sex crimes against 2 children. Kenneth Stevenson was convicted in Chilton County of rape, sodomy, incest, and more. Prosecutors say his victims were just 8 and 13 years old. The owner of a senior living facility in Jemison has been arrested for allegedly exploiting a 76-year-old resident. 39-year-old Tanisha Brown is accused of taking thousands of dollars from the resident's bank account without permission. Police say there are more victims and are asking anyone with information to come forward. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time, every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
The democracy!
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. Beautiful day here in Montgomery, Alabama. The rain has gone away. Also, top headlines include great CPI numbers, especially on groceries, which is a good sign going in the right direction. But as we've established here on the program, it seems we're in the middle of everything. Of course, we'll get to the big Trump visit. They rolled out the purple carpet for Trump there in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Quick update on Doge. It looks like Russ Vogt of OMB is taking that over for Elon most of the weeks. The $5 million gold card Visa program to be rolled out, quote unquote, soon. A lot of, negotiating going on with the one big, beautiful bill, though maybe that'll be separated into multiple different bills. And of course, we've got some Alabama news to get to, and the Mayor of Montgomery joining us in the 2 o'clock hour. But joining us as he does on a regular basis here on Tuesdays, the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm well, Joey, my dear friend. How are you? Thank you for your kind invitation and for these very happy regular gatherings on Tuesdays.
Absolutely. Now, it's been since we last saw each other. We have a new pope, an American pope. What do you make of this guy? It's early. Maybe the job will change the man, but what do you make of this choice?
The more I observe him, the more comfortable I become. I was originally actually stunned because there's only 2 cardinals named Robert, and the other one Robert Cardinal Sarah, the best friend of Joseph Cardinal Ratzinger, who became Benedict XVI, was my choice, arguably the most traditionalist of all of them. So when I heard Cardinal Mamberti say Roberto, I mean, my eyes welled up. I thought my prayers had been answered. And then out of his mouth came the name of somebody that no one ever heard of, including the other American cardinals, because he hasn't really been a priest, bishop, or a cardinal here in the U.S. And notwithstanding what the praiseworthy things he said about Francis, who in my opinion was, from a theological and liturgical perspective, the worst pope in history by tarnishing the same mass that was used for 400 years and by watering down traditional teachings. Nevertheless, he does give every indication he will be far more centrist and even on some issues traditionalist. So in that respect, I'm happy. I thought I'd been miserable that this was some sort of a compromise, but I'm happy. There was, according to cardinals who revealed this, and they shouldn't, really three of them in the running. One was the current Secretary of State, who's not a bad guy, but who had to do things that Francis forced him to do, which turned out to be unpopular and even disastrous, and he took the blame for it, mainly allowing the Chinese government, this is inconceivable, the Chinese government to choose a group of potential bishops out of which the Pope would choose one. Could you imagine if they allowed Donald Trump to choose a group out of which American cardinals would be chosen? Well, that's the agreement Francis cut with China, and this particular cardinal whom I've met, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, a moderate, decent guy, took the blame for that. The other was a cardinal from Hungary, last name Erdo, E-R-D-O, the favorite of the traditionalists. I mean, we'd be saying Latin Mass and the communion rails will be back by the end of the week if Cardinal Erdo had been elected. And then the compromise candidate, who apparently was unknown but had no blemishes, the man now known as Leo XIV, who does appear traditionalist in some respects, the way he dresses, the way he speaks, where he's living, the fact that he himself says the Latin Mass. All these things are giving the traditionalists joy.
Now, and I waited to talk to my family members, not just a priest. He's a Monsignor. He's the vicar of the cathedral down here in the Archdiocese of Mobile. And as the white smoke was coming out, he's like, well, I got to go say midday mass and take confessions. And so celebrating, just saying we have a new pope, didn't know the name yet, still waiting. By the time of his homily, it was texted to him. So he said, Joey, I think we were celebrating the very first mass maybe on earth to celebrate Pope Leo, which I'm like, well, that's quite of an accomplishment. And a recent statement by Pope Leo XIV, I very much liked, and to lead into next part of our conversation here, saying, don't fight World War III piecemeal. Yes. I thought that was very insightful, a geopolitical insight from the theologian.
Yes. I mean, even Francis, who, whatever you think of him, was basically a peaceful person, and who telephoned the one priest at the one remaining church built in the 9th century that hasn't been destroyed yet by the Israeli Defense Forces in Gaza, did not, as far as I know, call for a cessation of hostilities there, but Leo did about 3 days into his papacy. I was hoping he'd use the word genocide, in part because that's what it is, in part because not a single Israeli official came to Francis's funeral or to any of the events that followed it. We'll see if any of them come to his installation mass on Sunday.
Now, I want to focus in on Russia, because looks like Zelensky and Putin might meet very soon in Istanbul, especially from a lot of the folks you talk to on your show, Judging Freedom. I mean, what are the hopes of something actually getting done here? It'd be the first time these men have talked face to face since the war broke out.
I'd be very surprised if it happens. I mean, Zelensky would be violating a statute that he offered as legislation, which prohibits communications with anybody who's Russian. Putin has said Zelensky is not the legitimate legal president of Ukraine, which is a fair interpretation of the law. And if Zelensky agrees to Putin's demands, Crimea plus the 4 oblasts plus no NATO, Zelensky will be assassinated, and he knows that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what could possibly come from their meeting together or even being together.
Well, and that leads to, as you just mentioned, Israel. It's been in the press, a lot of different reports of the press. It almost seems like President Trump is distancing himself from Bibi Netanyahu, that he's not taking, say, Israeli input on a lot of, like, say, the Iran negotiations ongoing. I mean, have you talked about this with your folks? What do you?
Oh,
what do you
yeah,
make of
I've
this?
talked about it extensively. I mean, there's a number of indicators here. The negotiation directly with Hamas. I mean, Israel considers Hamas worthy of assassination, not worthy of negotiation. And Israel has, in fact, murdered several Hamas negotiators. Nevertheless, the United States negotiated directly with Hamas over Netanyahu's objection, and it secured the release of this young man who, though an American, fought in the Israeli military. Now, until 1965, before this kid was born, he's only 22 years old, that was a felony to fight in another country's military. And the punishment upon conviction was loss of citizenship, no longer. But Trump's people negotiated for his release, not Netanyahu's. Trump's people decided $1 billion and 3 F-18 fighter jets worth $80 million apiece was enough for bombing the Houthis. So he gave up on that without talking to Netanyahu. Trump's ambassador to Israel, whom I've known for many years from my work at Fox, Mike Huckabee, who 2 weeks ago said, I'm not even going to talk to the Palestinians, was forced to announce that the United States was sending humanitarian relief and was forced to say, we don't need Israel's permission to do it. So all of this thing, and Trump's in the Middle East and not going to Israel, all of these things are a slap in the face to Netanyahu. The inside word is that Trump is sick and tired of his personality, but recognizes the wealthy base of supporters that it has here in the U.S., many of whom supported Donald Trump. So I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, over the weekend, they intimated that Trump might actually recognize a Palestinian state. That would cause the collapse of the Netanyahu government, which would be a very good thing for Israel as well as for the neighborhood.
Yeah, and it seems like Trump's trying to carve out this unique position. And the more I look at the attacks on the special envoy, Steve Witkoff, the more I like Mr. Witkoff. I don't know everything about him, but it seems like if I have a guy willing to say, no, I'm not going to listen to the neocons, which I saw the other day, Mark Levin saying, well, that's just a pejorative for Jew, which is nonsense. These folks, that's their name, neoconservatives. It has become a pejorative, I think, for warmonger, for warhawk. Yeah. But it's interesting to see the administration pushing back against those elements, including in a public way.
Well, Trump is surrounded by 20 people or so who make up his foreign policy team. I don't need to tick off all their names. They're about 2/3 neocons, most not Jewish,
right.
And about 1/3, I'll call them America Firsters. But to a person, they are Zionists. To it right down to the last person, they are very serious Zionists. So Mark should not be complaining about all this. I think what Mark is upset about is that Trump sometimes takes unorthodox routes to the same end result. I mean, look at Witkoff. He is the de facto Secretary of State, not de jure, because by law, Marco Rubio is. He's been appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. But who's doing all the negotiating? Who's the chief diplomat? A guy who knows nothing about diplomacy or history. He's just a very successful real estate developer in New York. But Trump has been so gratified by his negotiating skills that he's giving him this job. This must be mortifying Marco Rubio, but this is the guy that has it. 1 minute he says, we're going to allow the Iranians to enrich uranium, but not enough for nuclear development. The next minute he says, no uranium. Well, they'll never agree to no uranium. They have power plants powered by uranium. Any high-class university hospital needs uranium isotopes in order to examine for a certain internal ailments. And they're not going to give up their ballistic missiles. So the Netanyahu demands on Witkoff are very publicly being rejected, and rightly so.
Well, and I noticed, I don't know if you saw the swearing in as he made him officially special envoy of Witkoff. It was done by Rubio, and Rubio didn't just shake his hand.
It was meaningless. There is no legal position. It was just a farce.
Well, did you see Rubio give him a big old hug there on national TV?
No, I didn't see it. I'm sure Rubio can't stand him, but I don't need to get into the personality clashes here. But the oath means nothing. He doesn't draw a salary. He doesn't have ethics rules imposed upon him. He could be over there on Air Force One and negotiating a land deal for himself, and nothing would be inappropriate for it. It would be inappropriate for the president to do it, who's probably going to do it, but it would not be inappropriate for Witkoff because he's not an officer of the United States government, no matter what oath Marco Rubio administers to him.
Now, one thing that happened last week after the initial nominee to be the U.S. District Attorney for, I guess, the D.C. area, Trump now says Judge Jeanine Pirro. And, I mean, I only know her from Fox. So what do you make of this?
She is a former district attorney, a comparable job. The job that he is giving her on an interim basis, which, depending upon which statute he uses, and of course he doesn't know this, and he didn't articulate which statute he's using. One of them allows him to appoint an interim for 120 days. The other allows him to appoint an interim for 210 days. This is the chief federal prosecutor for the District of Columbia, just the District of Columbia. Jeanine Pirro was the chief state prosecutor for Westchester County, New York, one of the wealthiest counties in the United States, a bedroom community north of New York City, but with inner city issues and inner city crime issues. She has, in my view, a fair amount of experience as a prosecutor. Look, Trump named one of his personal attorneys, a woman, a very beautiful woman by the name of Elena Haba, the interim U.S. attorney for New Jersey. She has that much experience prosecuting criminal cases. I'm showing a zero. Jeanine Pirro did this professionally for a number of years. So is he going to nominate her to become the U.S. attorney? I don't know, but he'll have to do something. Again, depending upon which statute he chose, he'll have to do something after either 120 days or 210 days when her time in office expires.
And, well, I think we're pretty much out of time here. I always appreciate your time. And if folks want to check out Judging Freedom, who have you had on recently? Who do you have?
I just had Colonel McGregor, and that's posted now. Yesterday, I had Scott Ritter, who just went wild on Trump for blowing the negotiations in Ukraine by taunting Putin. It's a very excitable segment that is now posted. And I have Colonel Karen Kwiatkowski coming up at 3:00 today.
Well,
Judging
like I said,
Freedom on YouTube.
I always appreciate the time, and God bless, sir. Talk to you soon.
She's great. Thank you, Joey. Always a pleasure, my man.
Yes, sir. Again, folks, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano. Always appreciate his time. And like I said, a lot coming up today and coming out. It looks like, again, very good inflation numbers. Now, very good is, I guess, in the eye of the beholder, relative to what? But CPI inflation hits its lowest in 4 years. Groceries in particular see biggest decline in 5 years. The annual inflation rate eased to 2.3% in April, the lowest since February 2021, showing that Joe Biden's attempted destruction of the U.S. economy can be reversed. This represents a 0.1% decline in the annual rate for March and a 0.1% below forecast. The month-to-month rate increased by 0.2% over March, but was lower than the forecast at 0.3%. Inside that number, there was more good news. Gasoline prices decreased for the third straight month. At home, food fell by 0.4%, or twice the rate of inflation. Eggs were down 17.7% since March, while pork and beef ran at or slightly behind inflation. Overall, grocery prices had their largest decline in nearly 5 years. Used cars declined in price, while the prices of new models remained constant. Last week, the New York Times humorously foreshadowed this report, saying, recession warnings are everywhere except in the data. This is, again, the New York Times saying, quote, evidence for the economic impact of President Trump's trade wars is everywhere, except for the most part in economic data itself. Consumer spending hasn't fallen. Layoffs haven't risen. Businesses haven't stopped investing in equipment or buying supplies. But it's not only inflation down, but the number of jobs created being up. In fact, banking and investment powerhouse JP Morgan has just withdrawn its prediction of recession. Not to say, of course, that the corporate press won't give up forecasting recession. They haven't. But I think we're in uncharted economic waters. No one has any idea how tariffs will play out in the modern world, especially as everything continues to be negotiated. This is not 1930, and references to the Smoot-Hawley tariff and the Great Depression are rather tired and indicate a preference for anti-Trump sloganeering over observation and analysis. And as we keep saying, we're in the middle of it now. It's unsatisfying to think, well, we're still just in the middle of it. Where's the result? Where's the outcome? In particular, when you look at the one big, beautiful bill, where is it? What's taking so long? Do you have Republican Ron Johnson of the Senate coming out and saying, yeah, I don't like this one big, beautiful bill approach. Let's approach this in a piecemeal way. We'll get to his op-ed in a second. You heard Senator Britt last week saying, yeah, I heard reading between the lines, it sounded like she was saying, yes, we have to take on the debt, but she made a point to underline the whole debt ceiling increase. So it sounds like more of the senators, and I think Lindsey Graham was pushing this from the beginning. No, this needs to be in two separate packages. Let's get the reconciliation done. Then we can do the debt ceiling raise and make the tax cuts permanent, yada, yada, yada. Then we can tack on Trump's extra tax cuts. Now, if I'm Trump saying you're going to put my main promise and priority to the American people third, last before you do everything else, I'm going to lose leverage. I don't want that. I want the no taxes on tips, the no taxes on overtime, the no taxes on Social Security benefits. I want the interest deduction on American-made cars. I want this in there. I promise this to the people. So don't put me last in line. I'm the president. So we'll see. There's a lot of fighting over how exactly big and beautiful, and beauty being in the eye of the beholder, this one bill will be. Maybe it will be more than just one bill. We'll get into all that. And also today, the president was welcomed royal treatment in Saudi Arabia. They literally rolled out the purple carpet, or the red carpet, but it was purple, I guess the color of royalty. Met Trump there at the tarmac, walking off Air Force One with a handshake photo op. And apparently Trump has already signed a major deal with Saudi that I think it's something like $600 billion initially. And they had a nice little flourish or touch there in Saudi Arabia. They certainly know how to get in Trump's good graces. They set up a very snazzy mobile McDonald's for Trump's visit to the Middle East. So we'll see. As you just heard me talking about with Judge Knapp, it seems like Trump is trying to carve out a unique position in the Middle East, where he's not quite pleasing everybody. Well, it looks like him and the current leadership in Saudi are tied at the hip with these new economic deals, including cooperation on energy, which could be a big effing deal, to use the former president's phrase. But when it comes to actually how do you get peace, it looks like Trump is going his own way. He's playing the different interest against one another. It's not to say Israel isn't an ally. Yes, most of the cabinet are Zionist, and proudly so. I think most Americans are Zionist. Depends on what you mean by that word, but does Israel have a right to a state, to exist, to have their place there that they've set up, that they won wars over? Of course they do. But how do you actually get peace in that region? It doesn't sound like Trump wants to take, say, the UN solution of the classic two-state solution. It doesn't sound like he wants to just go along with what Netanyahu and that coalition government actually want to push forward. Again, it sounds like Trump, using Witkoff, is carving out his own path, playing interest against one another. We'll see. We'll see. You got to hope that peace is possible because it means more prosperity for us. It means more money can be given back to the working class. It means certain things that might trigger even bigger conflicts are put to bed, especially as we enter into a new era of all this AI investment, essentially all these new language models and analysis tools coming online. And of course, the stuff we have here in the public is nothing compared to what they have at the top levels of government. If you can drive peace towards denuclearization between especially Russia and the United States, but China bringing everybody into this, saying it is madness, is we can actually grow. We can actually have peace and prosperity, not just for America first, but for the world, by renegotiating the deal that is no longer the United States' job to subsidize the rest of the world. It's not our job to do that any longer, whether you're talking about prescription drugs or you're talking about helping folks manufacture things and sell it into the U.S. consumer market, whether you're talking about security, payments and guarantees to the European continent or anywhere else. No, America is ready still to lead, but we're not going to foot the bill for everything. And you're not going to take the middle class, the working class, take advantage of them anymore. You're not going to take small business owners for granted any longer. The world has for so long used the American working class, middle class, the small mom and pop entrepreneur as a footstool to prop up this global order. And it is now the president's agenda. I think more and more getting wise to it. Though I look at a lot of the GOP and a lot of the Democrats, and they still are the bought and paid for kayfabe fakes that have been around for way too long. But the coalition that Trump has built, and it is messy. You can already see fault lines starting to rise. There is something about success of a political movement that often predicts its demise. But when it comes to the Trump agenda, Trump will be the one who decides what it is. Trump will have the final say on what the Trump agenda actually may be. There are a lot of folks that look at Trump, and like any great man in history or any leader that wins a big election, he can be a lot of things to a lot of different types of people. Is he the Bitcoin president? Is he the greatest friend to Israel we've ever seen in the presidency? Or is he a peacemaker? Is he stopping the stupid wars? Is he the big deal maker with the trade negotiations and with trying to get peace solved between Russia and Ukraine, Pakistan, and India, yada, yada, yada? What's his actual agenda going forward? Well, a lot of people predict it, and often they're trying to predict it to, well, flatter themselves that my view of Trump, I looked at that Rorschach test that is Trump, and of course, I see the truth of it. But at the end of the day, have a little humility. The Trump agenda will be for Trump to decide. Does he have every little thing figured out in the moment? No, nobody does. And that isn't his style by any means. But a lot of the stuff that's quieted down, things like Doge, it hasn't gone away. A lot of the stuff you heard promised just a month ago, it hasn't gone away. It's just that more and more and more we are flooding the zone. And again, we're in the middle of it. We'll see what occurs on the other side of things as we head into 2026, where the midterm elections will hinge, I believe, on the actual economy, and in particular, how much it costs for people to put food on the table, gas in the car, to build a life. The metric you should be watching amidst all the noise, all the sound and fury, wailing and gnashing of teeth is look at real wages. Is the everyday person in this country, are they getting wealthier? Is their dollar, is their wage going farther and farther? To what extent can they build a life and make life better for themselves and for the generations they hope to bring about here on earth in this beautiful country of ours? We'll see. But again, we're in the middle of it. And it's, I think, way too early to judge much anything at this point. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And at Dillon Rings, they're ready to help you as a full-service jewelry shop. We can tell you a little more about all the stuff they do later in the program. But I want to focus in on what Josh Ryder threw up there on Facebook today. Just go to Dillon Rings on Facebook. It's DYLAN Rings there on Facebook. And he's saying emerald is the birthstone for May. A little history lesson here. Emerald's lush green has soothed souls and excited imagination since antiquity. Its name comes from the ancient Greek word for green. Rome's Pliny the Elder described emerald in his Natural History published in the 1st century AD, saying, quote, nothing greens greener. That was his verdict. He described the use of emerald by folks who have no better method of restoring their eyes than by looking at the emerald, its soft green color comforting and removing their weariness and lassitude. Even today, the color green is known to relieve stress and eye strain. And say you were born here in the month of May, or you know somebody that you love and want to gift some beautiful jewelry born in the month of May. Well, emerald is, again, the birthstone for May. So get by Dillon Rings. See what they can do for you. Could be a custom design piece, could be something they already have in inventory, but you're going to love it either way. Check them out. Stop by today, 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery. That's just off of Atlanta Highway, so the back-end entrance to the whole AUM complex off Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Hey, get in. What? Who are you? I'm future you. Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Yeah. Mia, our doctor figured it out. She said it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The risk of showers and storms will be fading out of our forecast after several inches of rain over the last few days. Today, partial sunshine, high around 80. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. The warming trend begins with a high around 87. I think we'll be in the lower 90s on Thursday and Friday. A touch of summer in the air with mostly sunny skies. Then the risk of more scattered showers and thunderstorms by Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, we were just talking about, is there more daylight between Trump and in particular Bibi Netanyahu? Well, again, Trump decided to hop over Israel, not going to Israel. He's instead in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And apparently he just gave this little speech here. So let's, I haven't heard this yet. I've just seen the, caption of it. Let's listen in for the first time together.
The transformations have been unbelievably remarkable. Before our eyes, a new generation of leaders is transcending the ancient conflicts of tired divisions of the past and forging a future where the Middle East is defined by commerce, not chaos, where it exports technology, not terrorism, and where people of different nations, religions, and creeds are building cities together, not bombing each other out of existence. We don't want that. And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spend trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity,
Hear,
and
hear.
progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
Wow. Calling out the neocons by name and the interventionists and essentially praising the locals there for the direction they've taken their countries in the Middle East. Fascinating. Trump taking on the neoconservatives head on right there. Let's talk to Soldier Boy. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, two talking points. First talking point, I was on Atlanta Highway by the Super Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much gas is a gallon?
How much?
Take a guess.
Just tell me.
$2.49.
Nice. Nice.
Man, and he didn't have to sell any of our wartime reserves either.
I know. In fact, they're probably replenishing it. And
Well, probably is.
I just watched a thing with Doug Burgum, who continues to impress me as Interior Secretary, and he works hand in hand with Secretary Wright, Secretary of Energy. And man, the stuff they are getting back online and doing it quick, it's fantastic to see.
Bergman's sharp.
And
I listened to him when
when
he's talked a couple of times. You can tell that he's not just book smart. He's intellectually smart.
Yeah, and I always liked him from the debates, and the more I've heard from him, like this is this is a successful guy. Makes a lot of common sense.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is Mr. Trump realized that here's somebody who was your foe during the debates. Now I want you on my team because you're good. I know you're good. I watched you.
Well, and Burgum made clear never to say a bad word about Trump. He's like, I'm not running against Trump. I'm running against this insane Green New Deal mentality that us taking advantage of our energy resources and natural resources across the board is somehow a sin against Mother Earth or something. And it's great to see this unlocked. And with this new deal inked today with Saudi Arabia, it looks like this is going to drive energy even more.
Yep. I tell you, here's another thing that's interesting too. I didn't know how close India and Pakistan were ready to go to war.
Oh, yeah.
They shot down each other's fighters.
Yep.
India shot down Pakistan fighters, and they were fighters that they had purchased from France. And the fighters that they shot them down with were purchased through China. So it kind of tells you, I guess, either your flying abilities and dogfighting skills need to hone up a little bit, Pakistan, or get some better equipment out there. You know,
Well, and it shows the Chinese equipment ain't crap. That it actually
it ain't crap, evidently.
It's not maybe
crap,
it's not the F-35, it's not the F-22, but it is certainly it can take out other models.
Yeah, I was still impressed by it. But I didn't realize how close they were to. I mean, when you start shooting each other's planes down, you know, it's pretty much, and you both got nukes. It's close.
Yeah, and thank God for J.D. Vance and I think Rubio were the two that really got people to the table there.
I like what Trump says. He called them both up. He says, "Hey, we want to do business together. We're not into shooting and killing each other."
Right.
He says, "This is about let's make money. You know, and let's have a great economy. You know."
Did you see the clip that went viral? And I won't play it. I'll just characterize it, where it's an Indian reporter like on TV. And he's like, who is Trump to say we have to have peace? Who is it? He's sticking his nose in this. I'm like, he's saving y'all from yourselves. Goodness gracious.
And I want to know, when is he going to get the Nobel Peace Prize? If Obama can get it for doing nothing but twiddling his fingers around and dancing down the street, this guy's how many wars has he stopped?
Well, especially if it starts adding up. This one stopped, the next one stopped. I don't think it's ever going to come his way, though, because all this, again, is political. You have to be part of the club. And, well, if you're not in the club, they're not going to give you the accolades.
Well, do you think Joe Biden would have called India or Pakistan up?
I think his people might have tried. That's a pretty universal, like, we don't want those two go to war with each other. I think Jake Sullivan or somebody, Tony Blinken, would have tried.
I like when Trump, when he had the Ohio State football players at the Oval Office about the telephone. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Mr. Trump, what's the deal with that red phone?" He says, "You know it's for like Batman. Is it like a Batman phone?" He says, "Why don't you pick it up?" He goes, No, I'm scared to. He goes, no, go ahead, pick it up. And he did.
Goodness.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you, Mr. Trump, I noticed one thing too about his pace and his pitch of his voice when he's talking off a teleprompter. It's okay. He's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to give him a B, but I'd give him an A plus when he goes off the cuff.
Oh,
I mean, he's a natural.
Yeah.
He captured my attention, and I listened to him more than I do. I mean, I'm like a teleprompter. I'm like, somebody else wrote this crap, But here, when he goes off, freelance on his own, man, and he says what he wants to say and how he feels, he just seems to connect with the people and being genuine.
Absolutely. No, and this is what connected all those years ago, all the way back to 2015. And it's great to see he still got it. But he has changed. I think ever since he almost got his head blown off, a lot of people said the Trump that you got to see in person and behind the scenes actually started showing up in public. He's still got the zingers and the punchbacks and all this, the comebacks, but he's a little more low key at times, especially those Oval Office press conferences.
Yeah. I tell you one thing too. I think another thing that really changed his life was his grandkids.
Yeah.
When he talked at the National Republican Convention, when he talked to his granddaughter about playing golf, he says, "Does Dad have to?" He says, "Your grandfather, do you have to spot him some shots?" He said, "I can't say." But she got a scholarship, I see.
Yeah. No,
and she needed it,
Like these kids, their kids. You can judge to a degree. You can judge people by their family, especially their kids and their grandkids. I mean, not always. Some kids are just F up. Excuse me. But you see that loyalty, that love there that's apparent is pretty awesome.
Well, you notice a tree, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I mean, look at Joe Biden, okay? You had the one son who was a dope addict in the military. Then you got other one playing Skittles with his Mr. Winky with some Russian hose, And then you turn around and his daughter had a diary. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
About Dad showering with her, and she was in a psycho ward for a while.
Can I just? You're reminding me of something though. Can we just shut up about Joe Biden and treat him as already dead? Because Jake Tapper's got this whole exclusive, like how when people knew his decline, it's like, number one, y'all were his biggest offenders and covered up that crap for the longest time. And
Now
number two,
out.
I don't care what Biden has to say about anything right now. Go away.
I tell you one thing. I noticed everybody that stabbed him and that supported him and backed him up and lied. They all got books out now.
Of course.
They're all books.
Because they're headhunters. At the end of the day, these folks are headhunters, and they're sharpening the knife behind their back while they're claiming to be your friend all the time.
I want to know how long ago did they have these really pre-written report?
Oh, they were collecting notes along the whole way. It's
absolutely.
It's a gross world. It really is. But it makes the world go around, I guess.
Did you see him with his wife on The View?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, oh my God, she was like a dog dog handler. And then you got Belichick. Was it Belichick? I guess his girlfriend came in third place, huh?
I mean, she's. I don't know. Did they account for her being a psychopath? Because I mean,
she got beat. It said she got beat by a transgender woman.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, it's and I hate to see Belichick when he's gone home, but you know what? She supports the older folks, so I got to give her credit,
Right. People wonder about that stuff. Why would an old man on the back, side of life after he retired from all that glory in the NFL? Why would he want to hook up with some sweet young thing that's like 60 years younger than him? I'm like, have you seen her? And it's not like she also doesn't come across as some airhead. She comes across as kind of I was going to say something buster. Like you better believe Belichick likes this stuff. He loves the attention. He loves the energy.
He does.
Like, come on.
240. Let me ask you. Here's another interesting question, though. Is when she seems to control that relationship big time. He doesn't. And you know what? How many rings does Tom Brady have?
Oh goodness, I've lost count because he won one with the Bucks too. So six,
five and five. I think six total. One with the Bucks. Here's what I tell my friends all the time. Okay, I think Tom Brady would not have one, maybe one, but maybe zero Super Bowl rings had not played for Bill Belichick.
Oh yeah, Belichick created a whole team, a great team.
He worked perfect within that system.
I think Brady would have been successful anywhere because he was essentially an on-field coach and on-field general. But you got to have the defense. The defense often won those early Super Bowls for him. So, yeah.
Well, he did always great, and Belichick did great always on free agency. They hardly ever had any good picks because they were winning Super Bowls left and right. So you're getting like the last pick of the first round, you know?
Yeah, I just watched Brady just came out with a YouTube video. He's like, what? And he says directly to the camera, we're thinking like, what video should we produce? I'm like, well, I think I'm pretty good at throwing a football. So it's like a how-to as well as sort of a history of quarterbacking, but it's a how to throw a football correctly by Tom Brady himself. And it's like, well, I think you're getting good advice, solid advice, if that's the guy coaching you.
Yeah, because I tell you one thing. Here's the funny thing about it is he got nervous in the pocket as he got older. I noticed that.
Oh, of course.
He got happy feet real quick, and he's not the fastest turtle out there in the field with those NFL linebackers and safeties coming at him. And he don't like being touched and hit, especially when he got older.
Yeah, in that video, they put up his original scouting report, and one of the lines was, does not play beyond his abilities. It really dogged him out. That's why he went so low in the draft. They looked at him as slow, kind of plodding, like he's coachable, but and he relishes in that being the initial scouting report on him. But hey, Soldier Boy, I got to hit my break here. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Later. Have a good day.
272-9228. If you want to get in on the conversation, first, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and the team are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or sell here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Bo's been helping folks do just that for about 50 years now, which is amazing. What a career. And of course, it's not just buying and selling property. They can help you, say, turn that current home of yours into a rental investment. If you want to rent out your home, they have management services available there for a reasonable fee. And then the Goodson Group's crown jewel is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. It's one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs here in the great state of Alabama because it's not only, low cost, meets once a week, a very interactive course, but Bo is bringing that 50 years of experience to bear. He's seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so if you want to hit the ground running, finding success as a more knowledgeable private player here in the River Region real estate market, or you're looking to become a fully licensed real estate agent, check out the Goodson Group today. You can always learn more at thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of the program.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
When you need a new door or window replaced, you want it done right. Someone who delivers expert craftsmanship every time. Experience is a must. Listen, Davis Door and Sash. They can show you new doors and windows that can help you lower your utility bills and boost energy efficiency. Davis Door and Sash, Alabama.com or call 334-288-6010. Davis Door and Sash, the perfect fit for your home.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice, News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back into the program, folks. This speech Trump just gave, what is that infernal beeping over there? Really? Anyway, the speech Trump just gave in Saudi Arabia, well, it makes me so happy to hear an American president saying these things outright. I got to hear this again.
From Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
Man, and especially in the context of this is the first place Trump visits, that's what he says, literally calls out the neocons, the interventionists, the nation builders. Instead says, hey, if we lean on your traditions, but we have peace, we have commerce, we can have prosperity. It's a beautiful thing to behold. Now, again, we're in the middle of it. We'll see what's the next shoe to drop. Trump obviously can't control everything that's happening everywhere all at once, though some believe he does have a time machine. That said, that's one of the most refreshing things I've heard from an American president in a long, long time. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Donald John Trump. You better believe there are some people, especially in Rupert Murdoch's empire, that are crapping their pants right now. That Trump, not just his envoy, not just an ambassador, not just a supporter here or there, but Trump himself is saying that in his first big Middle East visit in Riyadh. The change is real, folks. Very real indeed. Second hour of the program coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With us, I'm John Scott. The president is in the Mideast. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman warmly greeted President Trump after the president landed in Riyadh. The two have signed more than a dozen agreements to increase cooperation between their government's militaries, justice departments, and cultural institutions. Prince Mohammed has already committed to some $600 billion in new Saudi investment in the U.S. House Republicans begin their public debate today on the Trump tax cut and budget legislation. An early season heat wave is scheduled for parts of the nation this week. Record or near record high temperatures expected across the plains, the Southwest, and much of the central and southern areas of Texas. On Wall Street, stocks are mixed, the Dow dropping 130, the NASDAQ ahead 324 points. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-613-5454. 800-613-5454. 800-613-5454.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. The risk of showers and storms will be fading out of our forecast after several inches of rain over the last few days. Today, partial sunshine, high around 80. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. The warming trend begins with a high around 87. I think we'll be in the lower 90s on Thursday and Friday. A touch of summer in the air with mostly sunny skies. Then the risk of more scattered showers and thunderstorms by Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE's 25 and 25 has you covered. For just $25 in closing costs, you can tap into your home's equity. No hidden fees, no headaches, just extra cash. Visit your local ASE Credit Union branch today. Federally insured by NCUA. NMLS 420259. Terms apply.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A multi-car crash involving a commercial vehicle has claimed the life of a Montgomery woman. 53-year-old Michelle Denise Johnson was killed late Sunday night when the car she was driving hit a tractor-trailer, then was struck by an oncoming car. The crash happened on Highway 231 about 2 miles south of Brundage. A woman has been arrested in connection to a fatal weekend shooting in Montgomery. 24-year-old Hannah Bentley was charged with the murder of 45-year-old Javon Prince on Monday. The shooting happened in the 2000 block of Locust Street near Jackson Hospital around 6:45 Saturday night. This is the city's 25th homicide of the year so far. Alabama's Office of Information Technology is investigating a cybersecurity event impacting certain state systems. Details are limited, but at least some state employee usernames and passwords were compromised. A third-party cybersecurity firm is currently working to secure and restore the impacted systems. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
This is Ryan Turner with Infusion Wellness Center. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for about 3 years now, and it's a great way to get your name out there and reach the people your business needs to grow and succeed. Highly recommended.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crap results.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Beautiful day here in Montgomery, Alabama. Time to go get that car wash before we get another rainy spout. Eddie Bader should be joining me here before too long. And again, you can always join 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Before I get back into things as part of the program, brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. It was fantastic seeing James yesterday. Really great guy. And if you're looking for somebody and a team that has your back when it comes to any and all of your plumbing needs, including those everyday problems, it could be low water pressure. That's no fun. Maybe you got to wash your hair or actually, really scrub something down. Well, low water pressure in that shower ain't going to do the trick. Maybe you're trying to wash the dishes. That's just miserable if the water pressure's low. Or maybe you've got a clogged drain in the bathroom, or could be in the kitchen. Maybe it's time to upgrade to, say, a new garbage disposal or a fully tankless water heater system. And of course, there at Cole Plumbing, they can help you with the big jobs, with the big leaks, inside or outside your home. They have this proprietary pipelining technology that allows them, with minimal discomfort to you in your home, to get in there and solve the problem. It's not like they got to dig out a big hole in your backyard or front yard, wherever the leak might be. It's not like they have to tear out a bunch of drywall to find the problem. No, with precision and expertise, they can get that job done. You can always learn more and even make an appointment online at coleplumbing.com, or just give them a call direct, 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole. Now, I want to shift gears here to the big, beautiful bill. Now, Trump is pitching the big, beautiful bill, putting this out on Truth Social. It's a long piece, so I won't do the entire Trump voice. I might in bits and pieces here. Trump writes, this week the Republicans are meeting in the Tax, Energy, and Agriculture committees on major pieces of the one big, beautiful bill. Republicans need to unify. I guess I'll use the Trump voice every time he uses all caps. Unify behind their highly respected chairman, Jason Smith, Brett Guthrie, and Glenn G.T. Thompson. Remember, these are men that truly strive to do what is right for America. The Democrats, on the other hand, want to destroy our country. You must oppose these Democrat amendments, which, in all fairness to them, were made prior to my news conference this morning announcing that drug prices, under our most favored nations policy, will be going down from 50 to 90%, affecting everything that is done in a very positive way. When I return from the Middle East, where great things will happen for America, we will work together on any and all outstanding issues. But there shouldn't be many. The bill is great. We have no alternative. We must win. But now, with the tremendous drug and pharmaceutical cuts, plus massive incoming tariff money, our great, big, beautiful bill just got that much bigger and better. The golden age of America will soon be upon us. Make America great again. So that's Trump selling the bill. Now let's pour some cold water all over that. With a very hardcore conservative guy, very serious about the debt and deficits and all this stuff. But Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin, has this op-ed out today at the Wall Street Journal saying the ugly truth about the big, beautiful bill. Years after COVID, the overspending continues, even with a Republican Congress. Now, before I read this, last week, Senator Katie Britt said they're trying to go back to spending levels that are pre-COVID. And you're going to hear that as well from Senator Johnson. The debt is out of control. So if there are folks there in the Senate and the House worried, but especially in the Senate, worried about how much money we're going to continue to spend in this one big, beautiful bill, maybe they should be listened to. But Ron Johnson writes, the one big, beautiful bill that Congress is working on is certainly big, but its beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Too often, the reality of these budget debates gets obscured in details, politically charged issues, and demagoguery. Let me attempt to clarify the current discussion by focusing on the most important facts and numbers. In fiscal 2019, federal outlays totaled $4.45 trillion, or 20% of gross domestic product, a little above 20%, 20.6% of gross domestic product. This year, according to the Congressional Budget Office's January 2025 projection, total outlays will be a tiny bit over $7 trillion, or 23.3% of GDP. That's a 58% increase over 6 years. The CBO projects federal outlays will total $89.3 trillion across fiscal years 2026 to 2035. Much of the blame goes to pandemic spending, but lockdowns are long over. There's nothing now to justify this abnormal level of government spending. Pathetically, Congress is having a hard time agreeing on a reduction of even $1.5 trillion from that 10-year amount. That's a 1.68% cut, a little more than a rounding error. My guess is that much of that minuscule decrease will be backloaded to the end of the 10 years, for which Congress is now budgeting, increasing the probability those savings will never be realized. And this is an old trick they constantly do. And also, though, as I'm reading through this, the CBO scoring, I'm not knocking necessarily the folks that work at the Congressional Budget Office, but the way the rules are set up, how they have to score stuff, it's crazy. For instance, all this tariff money being brought in, that can't go to the scoring. Why not? It's actual revenue. But here, Senator Ron Johnson continues. Other than during World War II, the increase in spending we've experienced over the past 6 years is unprecedented. After the war, Congress and President Truman understood the importance of returning spending to normal levels. In 1941, total outlays were $13.7 billion, or 11.7% of GDP. They peaked in 1945 at $92.7 billion, or 41% of GDP. That was a 577% increase, 10 times as large as what we experienced with the pandemic. Yet by 1948, federal outlays were $29.8 billion and back to a little over 11% of GDP. Since 1948, government has steadily grown, and spending as a percentage of GDP has more than doubled. That level far exceeds the size and scope of government the founders envisioned. In 1930, prior to President Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal, federal outlays were just 3.5% of GDP, while state and local expenditures were 9.1%. That was the foundational premise of America in the 10th Amendment, a limited federal government with most governing occurring close to the governed at the state and local level. That vision of limited federal government is now unattainable, but returning to a reasonable pre-pandemic level of spending is doable. The economy is no longer forcibly shut down. Congress should at least be able to bring spending back to its 2019 share of GDP, which would total $6.47 trillion next fiscal year. This would be $838 billion below the CBO's current fiscal 2026 spending projection of $7.29 trillion. Returning federal outlays to just a little over 20% of GDP would save $8.4 trillion over the next 10 years. That's a lot better than the current paltry goal of $1.5 trillion. It's essential that Congress deviate from its current path, writes Senator Ron Johnson. Under every scenario now being considered, federal debt continues to skyrocket from its current level of almost $37 trillion. The CBO's current projection adds around $22 trillion over the next 10 years, resulting in total debt of approximately $59 trillion, or 134% of GDP in 2035. That projection assumes an automatic tax increase will occur in 2026 when provisions of the 2017 tax cuts expire, increasing revenue from 17% of GDP in fiscal year 25 to an average of 18% over the next 10 years. With the CBO projecting 10-year GDP at $373 trillion, that 1% increase represents $3.7 trillion of additional revenue and lower debt. No one can accurately predict the dynamic economic effects of changes in tax law, tariffs, and the current trade war. But by repealing the automatic tax increase, adding $1.5 trillion in additional tax cuts, pumping around $340 billion into additional border and defense spending, and reducing other spending by almost $1.5 trillion, the one big beautiful bill will almost certainly add to our deficits and debt. I doubt Mr. Trump's voters expect us to continue spending at President Biden's levels, which led to the inflation they elected Republicans last year to stop. I doubt, too, that Trump voters will be elated to see the GOP embrace Democratic policies and priorities, including Obamacare, which seems to have found new life under the name Medicaid expansion. And I can't imagine that they want Republicans to increase annual deficits. That's why I can't support this bill as it's currently being discussed and doubt that it will pass the Senate. It's also why I'm asking the president and congressional leaders to reconsider a multi-step strategy on budget reconciliation. By immediately passing a bill based on the Senate's original budget resolution, we can fund border security and defense priorities and bank $850 billion in real spending reductions. The next step would be to pass a bill that extends current tax law to prevent the automatic 2026 tax increase and avoids default by including a smaller increase in the debt ceiling that maintains the pressure and leverage to achieve future spending reductions. With those goals achieved, sufficient incentive would remain to address President Trump's tax proposals, focusing on working men and women and the already expired business tax provisions of his 2017 tax law. It would also give us the time to simplify and rationalize the tax code and go line by line through the entire federal budget to uncover, expose, and eliminate the hundreds of billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse that the DOGE effort has shown exist. If we don't, America is headed off a cliff. Again, that is Senator Ron Johnson, very hardcore conservative, very much a fiscal hawk, a deficit hawk. In a way, it was some of what Katie Britt was outright saying, if not implying, in our conversation last week. So it seems like the Senate wants to stick by their original approach. Trump's going to have to whip votes. He's going to continue to try to sell this thing. I don't understand why you can't get this all done at the same time, honestly. And it is a little worrisome if I was the Trump White House that you say third in line will be all the promises you just made folks on the campaign trail. Third in line. That we'll do the reconciliation first. Then we'll make the tax cuts from 2017 permanent while raising the debt ceiling slightly. And then we'll have a third round where we'll consider tax cuts on no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits, which, by the way, is the most absurd thing I've ever heard of. Somebody pays into their system by force, into your stupid system they set up in the 30s, we're still ruled by the 30s. You pay, you're forced to pay into that system for your entire life. When you finally become a beneficiary, they tax your benefits. It's a raw deal. It was never your money. They never treat it that way. Needs to get done. It need to be done tomorrow, not yesterday. But we're in the position we're in, and we'll see, well, where the haggling will continue when it comes to this Congress. 272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, my man, I just want to say I'm loving what you're preaching, and you laying it down fantastic. And this is what I'd like to say, and this is just from one voter all the way up to top brass, all the way up there in the Senate. If you're a Republican and you're a conservative and you want to do anything, it's got to be dynamic. I don't know about that BOE or whatever it is up there, but I've had business my whole life. I'm an old man. In other words, what you intend to do with the money does have a definite effect. And I guarantee you GDP is going to go up, which means the tax receipts are going to go up, which means it helps a whole lot of things. And then I will say this, earlier you was putting Donald Trump on there. That's a president in another country touting America. That is that's my president, Donald J. Trump. And then the last thing I'd say is on the drug thing, because I love the libertarians, I'm not much against them. And but I just say this isn't price fixing. This is price adjusting, because Donald Trump's telling those businesses, you're not going to just hammer the hell out of us and nobody else. And
right.
It's up to those businesses to get it right. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, Joey, thank you for letting me on, and I love your show, brother.
Appreciate it, Robert. 272-9228. And you got to wonder, where did Doge go? Why did they leash Doge? What's going on? And I think actually Doge just got a little quieter, a little more stealthy. Because it's Elon, and it is his style, where he will take over a thing, and that will be all he does 24/7. He did it when he bought Twitter, where he'll make a major point of focusing on that new thing, understanding the business, understanding the system. Then he'll go back, and once he has a mental model, he can sort of manage it through others. It seems that's exactly what's happening with Doge. But even though Doge has gotten quieter, the work has not stopped. Russ Vought, President Trump's top budget official, he heads the Office of Management and Budget, is looking to lock in many of Elon Musk's cost-cutting efforts once the billionaire CEO steps aside from government. And again, it's not like, oh, Elon's completely going anywhere. He's just limiting how many days of the week he works on Doge. And that, 135-day limit as a special employee or special whatever to the government is not like, oh, just days on the calendar. It's days you actually are there working for the government. So Elon's not quite going everywhere. But Vote is going to be the one actually driving the car when Musk has to take some time off and focus on, say, other things like this whole Tesla robotaxi rollout, Starlink, Neuralink, SpaceX, yada, yada, yada. But Vote has already drawn the ire of Republican national security hawks. I like this. By insisting the military spending receive increases only through a procedure known as budget reconciliation, as opposed to an annual budget. Aside from the reconciliation spending, the White House budget blueprint proposed maintaining military spending at current budget levels of $892.6 billion. The move came even as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and senior Republicans pushed for more funding, lawmakers and congressional aides said. Republican members of Congress and staff believed they had received assurances from Hegseth, some personally, aides said, that the number would be larger and were shocked when the budget came out. They worry that getting a one-time boost through reconciliation would be temporary and not provide for long-term security needs. Senator Kevin Cramer, a member of the Armed Services Committee, said some Republican colleagues on both the House and Senate Armed Services Committees laid the blame on Vote. Russ has a lot of sway as the OMB director. He's got a very sharp pencil. Everything must be on the table. Everything. Everything must be doged. Frickin' Republicans, you slap military on it, and they love everything about it. In retrospect, one senior Republican staffer said it shouldn't have been surprising that a budget expert such as Vote won a knife fight over the budget. A Pentagon spokesperson described the White House budget proposal as an increase in spending for the military, but didn't answer questions about whether Hegseth believed Vote's proposed defense budget was adequate, or whether he had pushed for more funding. The defense budget fight shows how Vote's presence will be felt more around Washington as Elon Musk retreats to his businesses, including electric car maker Tesla. And by the way, I'm reading this from the Wall Street Journal, who I stopped paying for, and it's because of framing like this. Elon retreats to Tesla as they've taken a big hit and all this. God. Y'all want failure. You want business as usual. That's the infuriating part. These folks lose an election, their interests lose an election, and they still are like, well, we don't care what the American people said. We don't care about the new media environment. We're still going to push our agenda. Because that's how democracy works. The people vote, pretend they're in charge, and we just keep on doing what we've been doing. I'm sorry, guys. Everything must be doged. Vote has served as Musk's lower-profile partner on Doge, which has sought to slash government spending and cut the federal workforce during the start of Trump's second administration. During Trump's cabinet meeting last month, members of the president's team applauded Musk for his work at Doge. The president told Elon that he was invited to stay as long as he wanted. At some point, he wants to get back home to his cars. With the administration's budget process kicking into high gear, Vote will oversee a series of initiatives from cutting agency regulations and working with Congress to claw back funds to reclassify federal workers and advancing a 2025 budget proposal that seeks to slash spending. Hanging over the tensions is Vote's public push for Trump's authority to impound funds, a move that involves the president refusing to spend money appropriated by Congress and could set off a fight between lawmakers and the White House. Though, again, rescission is probably the route they're going to go. Vote is a longtime budget guru who served at OMB during Trump's first term. He has said that he wants to halt efforts by Democrats to demand parity, in which increased military spending is matched by a similar boost in domestic spending, as partly why Vote has favored using reconciliation to funnel more money to the Pentagon one time. But, yeah, the way all these folks talk about it is like, no, we're not in $37 trillion of debt. And, like, we still need to get our cut. We still need our cut. Alabama's own Mike Rogers said that's OMB doing silly math. Roger Wicker also has argued that supplemental funding for national security doesn't make up for the need for growth in the military's base budget. Rogers goes on to say that's OMB doing silly math, and that Rogers and his fellow colleague on House Armed Services in the Senate, Roger Wicker, have made it very clear that the number they sent over for the base bill is not going to happen. No, we're going to spend more. Because that's what we do. That's how we get paid. That's how this game is played. But in the coming months, DOGE is expected to focus more on regulation cutting, according to a February 19th executive order that instructed agency leaders to begin rescinding unlawful regulations in coordination with DOGE and OMB. Vote is also likely to turn his attention to what is commonly known as Schedule F, an executive order that Trump issued in October 2020 to eliminate job protections for thousands of high-level federal workers, essentially redesignating them as serving at the pleasure of the president. The Biden administration, of course, blocked that order, but Trump reintroduced it in an executive order and says it will restore accountability to the career civil service. Hoping to make some of DOGE's changes permanent, the White House is expected to push Congress to act on a $9.3 billion rescission package that would seek to claw back funding from the State Department, USAID, National Public Radio, and PBS. It needs to be a heck of a lot bigger than that. Damn it. These guys are... Y'all are something. Y'all are really, really something. Other than Trump, I don't always agree with him, but he seems to be actually following through with the agenda. Whereas Congress, well, they're going to protect their little fiefdoms until the wheels frickin' fall off. Maybe what we need is a big calamity, a big withdrawal, a big crash off the cliff. Because these cowards in Congress can't see beyond their frickin' nose. Anyway, let's go to line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
Joey?
Hey, TS, how are you doing?
I'm cooling off from working outside, trying to get the privacy fence down so the chain link fence can go up. I want to remind you of something.
Yeah.
You're all fired up, and this is only Tuesday. You got to wait till tomorrow.
I'm allowed to be fired up
Remember?
whenever I want. Don't tell me what to do.
No. What?
I'm allowed to be fired up whenever I want. Don't tell me what to do.
I won't tell you what to do. Just be nice to an older lady, okay?
I'm being perfectly nice right now.
Don't make me drive over there.
I
Okay,
wish you
let me
would.
get to my
I
question.
wish you would.
Shut up.
I wish you would come over and just smack me. Smack the anger. I don't want to be worked up.
I can't right. Oh, I would love to, but I can't right now. Maybe tomorrow. Okay, listen.
right.
Thank you. There's a search engine on one of these shows you guys have mentioned that's better than Google or anybody else. Do you remember the name?
It's an AI service. I prefer Grok, Grok, and it's the one Elon Musk has put out there.
Or Grok?
Yep, Grok.
Okay, I'll find that. Thank you, kind sir.
Grok is wonderful.
Now, it sounds like you're saying vote when you're talking about this other guy,
Yeah.
but I know you're not saying vote. What's his name?
That's how it's pronounced, I believe, Russell Vogt, but it's spelled Vought.
Oh, okay, Vought. Thank you. It's this teacher stuff in me. And then this is the final question, and I'll let you go. When you were playing Trump's tapes, I'm sorry, I'm just really hot right now. Oh, like hot, like outside hot.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
When you were playing Trump's what do I want to call
Speech
them?
in Saudi
Tapes and
Arabia?
things yesterday. Well, no, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Whatever you were playing yesterday, was it just me, or did you notice he has labored breathing?
I didn't notice that. Maybe I'll pay
You
more
did?
attention. I did not.
Oh, okay. It was like between his statements and stuff, he seemed to be labored. But I know he's in great physical health. But I just had a little concern there.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in Montgomery tomorrow, I'll just come by and smack you if you're on the show.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Okay, I love you more. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Bye, TS. Love you. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. 9228. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you out with any and all of your pest control needs. It could be you haven't had inspections done for termites in a while. You're playing with fire. You really are. You're playing with the silent fire that's destroying and creating a big, costly problem for you. Why not have Pest Pro come out, inspect your property, and set up protection measures? And, of course, they can do that basic pest control service year-round. And they're also ready to help you with mosquito season, which is upon us. It's only going to get worse as things continue to warm up. If you would like to actually enjoy your backyard, enjoy the front porch, enjoy your property without, well, being eaten up by those skeeters, they can help you there at Pest Pro Services. And it's not like, oh, they just show up once and you got to remember to call them up again. No, they get you on a regular plan where they're coming out, I believe, 8 times a year to make sure those mosquitoes aren't hassling you on your property. So y'all check out Pest Pro Services today. There's so much they have going on. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or just search for Pest Pro Services on Facebook. A very informative page, and they're also doing all sorts of great events where they're giving back to the local community. They're not just skilled professionals. They're really good local folks at Pest Pro. And, of course, you can always call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley, that great team, that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. You're thinking of selling your home. Here are several ways to improve the look of your home and possibly the value. Number 1, improve the curb appeal with trim bushes and cut the grass. Repaint the exterior where needed, and if needed, paint your front door. Number 2, declutter the inside of the home by removing items that are not needed off countertops, dressers, and the den. 3, paint walls and trim where needed with a fresh coat of paint in a light color that will show off your home. 4, clean your oven and microwave inside and out, make it shine. Number 5, professionally clean carpets or shine the wood floors with a polish or Bona. 6, clean out all closets or unwanted clothes, shoes, belts, hats, and donate them to a local charity. Finish any leftover repairs now, doorknobs, light bulbs, and closet doors. For a complete list and an in-person evaluation and consultation, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Good morning. Do you have time for lunch today? My treat.
Absolutely. But what's the occasion?
I'm in love with the new 24/7 Express kiosk at Worth Cleaners. The kiosk is so easy to use, and I can drop off and pick up on my schedule. Thank you for sharing that tip with me.
You're welcome. I'm happy to have my lunch buddy back.
Have you tried the new Worth Cleaners 24/7 Express kiosk? This is the first service of its kind in Montgomery. Customers love the convenience of dropping off and picking up dry cleaning and laundry on their schedule, day or night, 365 days a year. Even if you've never used Worth Cleaners before, you can go to their location at 7825 Vaughn Road today and use their 24/7 Express kiosk. Instructions along with several descriptive photos are posted on the wall next to the kiosk to aid customers who are first-time users. Give it a try. Visit our Vaughn Road location or find Worth Cleaners on Facebook for more information. Your family's clothing is worth it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The risk of showers and storms will be fading out of our forecast after several inches of rain over the last few days. Today, partial sunshine, high around 80. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. The warming trend begins with a high around 87. I think we'll be in the lower 90s on Thursday and Friday. A touch of summer in the air with mostly sunny skies. Then the risk of more scattered showers and thunderstorms by Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. If you want to get in on the conversation, you can always call up at 334-272-9228. It's the number Biloxi Gambler dialed. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, the reason I called, she was talking about his labored breathing. What I think is, that was he was reading word for word exactly what he wanted to say, which he normally doesn't do, and he had to read it kind of slow so the interpreters could keep up for the translation. And he's not used to doing that. He's used to just being Trump and just talking, 300 words a minute. And it's just more natural. But I believe that's what it was. And the reason I had to call, I was concerned. I wanted to do my part to cool off, the hot retired school teacher. So,
You dirty dog.
well, I wanted her to calm down quick. It's fine, TS. Everything's fine.
And we'll keep watching Trump. He's no spring chicken by any means. And luckily we got J.D. Vance waiting in the wings if need be.
Man, plus he had a long plane ride. He's going to a lot of different places, and yeah, he's fine. I think it was because I was listening to it, and I said he's reading it word for word. He's not used to that. So anyway, buddy, I'll talk to you another time.
Appreciate it, Biloxi Gambler. And 272-9228. I am and continue to be over the moon on what Trump did say in Saudi Arabia, calling out the interventionists and the neocons to their faces. And a lot of folks thinking Trump's visit here was a bit of a snub to the Israelis. And, well, more, not so much the Israeli people, because honestly, I can't think of a stronger friend and supporter of Israel in the presidency than Trump in all these years. But more telling, say, Likud and Bibi Netanyahu and certain interests in this country, no, we're not doing the bombing first. Stop undermining my negotiations. Stop trying to lead me down a certain road and path. I'm my own guy. I'm trying to do something here. Y'all can be independent. Y'all can do your own thing as well. But I'm tired of the same games, the same script we've been playing since the middle 90s. Since the turn of the century. We're not playing that game anymore. We're going in a different direction. Now, again, we'll see. We'll see. But this was earlier today in Saudi Arabia. It's so good, I got to play it again.
We don't want that. And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
And of course, that's Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince there, they're showing on camera, clapping vigorously. It's quite a thing for the president of the United States to lay out there, especially compared to, well, what we've gotten used to for so many years when it comes to American foreign policy and what presidents are supposed to say, even allowed to say. You actually have a guy running the gig here with his own unique perspective and voice. For those who didn't hear earlier, the Saudis not only rolled out the purple carpet, a great royal welcome, but they also set up a mobile Mickey D's, which is quite something. Trump loves himself, what, Filet-O-Fish? I think he's a Filet-O-Fish guy. Nothing wrong with a good Filet-O-Fish. I don't love their tartar sauce, but Filet-O-Fish ain't bad. It's not too bad for you compared to what you could be eating. But Trump is now wondering, where are you at, Jerome Powell? Where are you at? Saying no inflation and prices of gasoline, energy, groceries, and practically everything else are down. The Fed must lower the rate like Europe and China have done. What is wrong with too late, Powell? Speaking of the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Not fair to America, which is ready to blossom. Just let it all happen. It will be a beautiful thing. Trump saying that not too long ago there. So we'll see. But so far, the Middle East trip is it's bearing fruit, at least in the short term. But here is a little more from that speech. Trump announcing he will be ordering cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness. Saying, my administration stands ready to give a future of economic development and peace with its neighbors. Talking about how the Houthis have finally stopped. They've agreed to stop. We've hit them hard, and they finally stopped. But here is more. This is Trump talking about, well, the hubris of former presidents. I think this is quite, well, spot on.
In recent years, far too many American presidents have been afflicted with the notion that it's our job to look into the souls of foreign leaders and use U.S. policy to dispense justice.
Man, that is a direct shot at George W. Bush, who I think said something about looking into Vladimir Putin's eyes and seeing his soul. Ow.
For their sins, they loved using our very powerful military, and now it's really the most powerful it's ever been. We just are getting a budget approved, $1 trillion, highest budget we've ever had in history for military, $1 trillion. And we're getting the greatest missiles, the greatest weapons. And, you know, I hate to do it, but you have to do it because we believe in peace through strength. You have to have the strength, otherwise bad things could happen. But hopefully we'll never have to use any of those weapons. Seems to be an awfully big waste of money if you're never going to use them, but hopefully we'll never have to use them because the destructive power of some of those weapons are like nobody's seen before. I believe it is God's job to sit in judgment, my job to defend America and to promote the fundamental interest of stability, prosperity, and peace. That's what I really want to do.
Beautiful. We'll see if it all works out. As I keep saying, we are in the middle of it. It's not like this is all going to be worked out all at once. But the signals he is sending, especially to this war-torn region of the world, I like it. I like this idea of we can go a different path. We don't have to continue doing the same failed approaches that have failed us decade after decade. and especially the failed approach of nation building of the neoconservative interventionists. We don't have to do that anymore. Yes, we need a new American century, but it's not the one they envisioned. It can be one where, yes, we have a strong military. Heck, we can give you a one-time increase in the military budget, $1 trillion budget. I love that Roger Wicker and Mike Rogers are upset that it's a one-time thing, that they're not going to be able to lock in the $1 trillion for 10 years. Again, they just look at their own little interest. But it is a fantastic change of pace, a breath of fresh air. We will see. We will see. Now, here, talking on the economic side, how the economic prosperity creates an upside that leads to an even stronger peace. Here's some of the deal that was worked out as announced by the president with the Saudis.
In addition to purchases of $142 billion of American-made military equipment by our great Saudi partners, the largest ever, this week there are multi-billion-dollar commercial deals with Amazon, Oracle, AMD. They're all here. Uber, Qualcomm, Johnson & Johnson, and many, many more.
Hear, hear.
So I want to congratulate everybody. So many great business executives, many of you, most of you I know. And they're coming in, about a month ago. They weren't that happy when they saw me. And now they're saying, sir, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much. It's amazing what a rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. In fact, I told people 5 weeks ago, this is a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened. But it's going to go a lot higher. You see, we've never had anything like this happen. It's an explosion of investment and jobs, and great companies are coming in. Never seen anything like it. There's no better place to make a future or make a fortune, do anything, frankly, than what we have in the United States of America under a certain President Donald J. Trump.
Hear, hear. And again, the presentation by the Saudis, well, they're doing it big and bold, just as I think Trump would have it. Got to hit another quick break here. Again, the mayor of Montgomery, Stephen Reed, should be joining us a little after 2 o'clock. Before I hit this break, this part of the show, this entire hour, actually, the entire second hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy a home, purchase a home. They can walk you through that home buying process from pre-approval all the way to closing day, or they can help you refinance, maybe to get debt off your back, maybe to get monthly costs down, especially if you have entered into retirement and you're feeling the squeeze on fixed income and you want to get those monthly overhead costs down. They can help you with that there at Alabama Home Mortgage. Maybe you're a veteran and you haven't taken advantage of the VA home loan benefits that you earned through your service. Well, they specialize there in helping veterans at Alabama Home Mortgage. They can do it across the board. Don't be making decisions about purchasing or refinancing based on all the national and international headlines, even if it's good headlines or bad headlines. No. Call up the pros there at Alabama Home Mortgage and let them understand you and your own economy, your own household, your own goals in buying a home or refinancing that home. Conversation always just starts with a phone call, 567-4223. Again, that's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online if you want to do it that way at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
We have that time of year where storms roll through. A lot of times we're seeing a lot of power outages.
outages, in which we do install whole home generators.
You can keep your power on, absolutely. Generac generators.
Peace of mind knowing you always got standby power. About 30 seconds where you don't have power, those generators kick back on like nothing ever happened. When storms roll in, sometimes the lights go out. But here at Mr. Electric, we'll never leave you in the dark.
It's the electric power to make things better.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestricelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. Even in the digital age, radio remains the most powerful reach medium for connecting with audiences. Its ability to engage listeners, reach a wide and diverse audience, and create real emotional connections sets it apart from other forms of media. Radio's adaptability and easy access ensure its continued relevance now and in the future. Want to learn how radio can work for your business? Visit BlueWaterBroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Jenny King, the king of clean, delivers reliable, high-quality commercial cleaning services through a proven franchise model that empowers local business owners. Jenny King's franchise owners receive the training, support, and resources needed to succeed, while clients benefit from tailored cleaning solutions backed by a global brand. Jenny King ensures consistent results, trust, and success for everyone we serve. Go to JennyKingCleans.com and find out how we can help you. That's JennyKingCleans.com.
Jenny King, the king of clean.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, it's right there in the name. They're looking to get you men healthy, get you feeling like yourself with that energy, that motivation, that drive that you used to always have. Or maybe you never had it. Maybe you're a young man and you've always been struggling, even when you try to work out. You're trying to go to sleep on time. You're trying to eat right. And yet you're seeing muscle loss, or you just never can put it on, seeing unwanted weight gain, you're not sleeping well, you lay down your head for 8 hours, but you wake up in the morning exhausted, your sleep patterns are all sorts of messed up, and you're never in the mood. Like you have no sex drive to speak of, no libido, no life force. Well, it could very well be you have low testosterone. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health can help you figure that out. They'll conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And really, it's a quick blood draw, a few basic quality of life questions. And once they get you dialed in, and in fact, if you do have low T, they have treatments there for low testosterone that can truly change men's lives and, in fact, make you feel better the very same day. Men can experience, after treatment, higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. Pretty easy to sign up. Just call them today at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Like I said, in a little bit, we should have the mayor of Montgomery, Stephen Reed, stopping by. I was just looking at an article that it's been a staple of the bodybuilding and the, say, hardcore athletic types for years, but creatine. Creatine has now become a popular supplement for folks trying to get more energy and more focus, like more clarity of mind. And, you know, I've tried creatine. Honestly, I don't like how much water weight it puts on you. It does, clearly. It helps you lift more weight. It does help you with having that focus, a little more mental drive and focus. But unless you want to put on like 5 to 10 pounds of water weight over your duration of using it, of course, it depends on how much you're taking a day. But it's fascinating how more and more folks, the things that are coming online as supplements are meant to fight that whole foggy brain problem, to fight that, being tired all the live long day. And of course, there are more and more options out there. But I'll say, you know, you want to look bulky, You want to have a little more focus? Try creatine. I don't have any like particular sponsor for that. I just know for me, it leaves me feeling a little like puffy at the end of the day. But folks are going to continue to try out these new things. Isn't that the name of the game in this day and age? That the food pyramid is bunk. A lot of the official story is bunk. We go through these fads like anything else in health and nutrition or in medicine. And really, at the end of the day, you have to figure it out. You have to figure out how certain supplements, how certain medications, how things affect you. And then certain habits of mind, as well as a workout schedule. Now, some of y'all work for a living. You get plenty of activity and plenty of sun, but they're just small tweaks. And the idea that there's one official way, authoritative way of going about these things, I, again, think is nonsense. It's bunk. Instead, you got to maybe do a little give and take, a little iterative process. But there's so much information out there these days. Whether we're talking health and fitness and nutrition, or we're talking different opinions on foreign policy or the online theological debates continuing. There's so many options. Like, how many times do you run across somebody who's got like a podcast? You're like, I don't even know who this is. Oh, they have like millions of subscribers. There's just more and more folks popping up from all different fields and walks of life with different insights. And I think it's leading us to there's definitely dark corners of the internet right now. But it's also leading people, I think, to open their minds up a little bit and try new things. Not everybody. There are a few of y'all out there, not everybody. A few of y'all are stuck in your ways. I mean, you're old. I get it. You get old. You don't want to change. That's how life is. My grandfather keeps telling me, don't get old. I don't know if I have a solution to that yet, I tell him. But, you get stuck in your ways. I don't blame you at a certain point. You are who you are, and it's not going to change too much. But you might be amazed at how small changes can compound and add up to big changes over the long haul. And we'll see, maybe, again, in this new information age where authority isn't trusted and people are trying to find their own way, we might come out on the other side of this without too much havoc or mayhem. Well, that's at least the hope and the dream. We'll be right back after this.
Joey Clark.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Trump, in a speech in Saudi Arabia, has urged Iran to take a new and a better path as he pushes for a new nuclear deal. At a U.S.-Saudi investment conference, Mr. Trump says he wants to avoid conflict with Tehran. The president has dispatched his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, to meet with Iranian officials for a fourth round of talks that are aimed at persuading Iran to abandon its nuclear program. A massive blaze at a mattress warehouse in Baltimore on Monday evening. That building is next to railroad tracks, forcing Amtrak delays between Washington and Baltimore. All commuter rail service on the Penn line remains canceled for today. On Wall Street, stocks remain mixed, the Dow dropping 188 points, the Nasdaq ahead 321. This is SRN News.
3 years ago, I wrapped up a run of Annie playing Daddy Warbucks with the South Carolina Children's Theater. I was about 50 pounds overweight, tired, sick, fed up with the way I felt. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I had to do something. I scheduled my weight loss consultation with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. And as they say, the rest is history. Just a few months, I lost over 50 pounds. I took control of my health. 3 years later, I've kept the weight off and I feel better than ever. If you are where I was, do what I did. Call PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. It'll change your life. It's fast, it's simple. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call at 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. That's 855-696-2020. 855-696-2020. Here's the best part. First 11 callers who mention the keyword healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Don't wait. Call today. 855-696-2020. Mention healthy to get 2 free weeks, or visit them at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The risk of showers and storms will be fading out of our forecast after several inches of rain over the last few days. Today, partial sunshine, high around 80. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. The warming trend begins with a high around 87. I think we'll be in the lower 90s on Thursday and Friday. A touch of summer in the air with mostly sunny skies. Then the risk of more scattered showers and thunderstorms by Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth says he is not running for U.S. Senate. Ainsworth was speaking to the Tennessee Valley Republican Club in Huntsville this past Monday, where he said he's ruled out a Senate bid, citing his desire to stay close to family as his children enter their high school years. Ainsworth has been seen as a potential contender for the seat if Senator Tommy Tuberville decides to run for governor. However, Ainsworth made it clear his focus is on Alabama, saying the only office he's considering is governor. Ainsworth says he will evaluate a possible run for governor after the legislative session ends this week and will otherwise return to the private sector. Ainsworth said he's optimistic about Alabama's future and praised former President Trump as a partner in the White House. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Ryan Dawson here, CEO of 1819 News. I'm also the host of 1819 News, the podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having important conversations with guests from across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
Authorities in Lawrence County have now identified the body found in a burned-out vehicle this past May 7th. The body is that of 27-year-old Samuel Heflin. His vehicle was found on County Road 123 in Moulton. The Birmingham Police Department has made 69 arrests just last week as part of a major crime reduction effort that occurred between May 5th and 11th. Officers with the Special Enforcement Division targeted high-priority areas, which resulted in 46 felony charges, 23 misdemeanors, and the seizure of 18 firearms. Police also seized over 5,900 grams of marijuana and confiscated other drugs such as cocaine, meth, fentanyl, and heroin. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Take a trip with 2 iconic bands, J.J. Gray and Mofro. Together with the Marshall Tucker Band. May 22nd, Montgomery Performing Arts Center. The Ramblin' Rooster Tour. Rock, blues, and hits all night. Get tickets Friday at Ticketmaster.com. Together for a rare evening. Don't miss J.J. Gray and Mofro and the Marshall Tucker Band.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back.
promised, and sitting right across the desk from me. My ranting and raving is over. You know, when you got to talk for a little over 2 hours by yourself, you might say something. So now I'm not in trouble anymore. I hope. And we have the mayor of Montgomery, Stephen Reed, here right across the desk. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Great. Really
Good
doing
deal, man.
well.
It's a good day outside. Good spring day, not too hot.
Exactly right.
Had a lot of rain to cool it off, so I'm gonna enjoy this a little bit.
Time to go get like your car washed today after that rain spell. Like it gets nasty.
You know
Anyway,
what? I send my kids to. That's what they're for. It's free labor.
There you go.
Send them to go do that.
So I want to start with, say, the investment side of what we've
Yeah.
been seeing over the last few years. Like, how is the city primed for investment? What do you think are some of the highlights of what's coming to the city and what might come to the city?
Wow, I think that we've had a great 3-year run, probably even greater than I would have imagined. We had the historic year of $3.5 billion announced. We never had that a couple of years ago. I think that was 2022, and we continued that through 2024. So, when you look at the capital improvement projects that we've laid out and the expansions of some of our local businesses that have been here, it's been positive. I think that we're on the verge, as I was just sharing with some folks in Bentonville, Arkansas last week with some other mayors, including Tim Kelly from Chattanooga, great city, and David Holt from Oklahoma City, and some other guys there. Kind of what we're trying to do in the heartland, in the middle of the country, and how we have to go after business and growth both from the inside out and outside in really simultaneously. So for us, I think 2024 is a harbinger of things to come this year. If there's an area that I'd like to see us improve, it's certainly that of white-collar jobs. We're getting some high-paying advanced manufacturing jobs, no doubt. One of the things that we are proud of is that we assisted, along with the county, Alpha moving its South Montgomery headquarters over to East Montgomery right off I-85. And I think that's good because you want your corporate headquarters to stay, but you also want to bring in more. And with more corporate headquarters, bring more middle class jobs. That means more support for churches, nonprofits, organizations. And it means, more decision makers, right in your backyard. And that's always good to have when it comes to the outlook of, your city, your region, and certainly the state. So I think our investments have been very, very good on the private sector side, and we're certainly proud of those public sector investments we made as well.
Now, on the Alpha thing, people will slap me if I don't ask, because there are a lot of folks going, why does Alpha get all the sweetened deal? They've got plenty of money to relocate. Why do they need all these things going on?
I think the way I looked at it was, if I were attracting a corporate headquarters, which we have as a priority for the city and for the chamber, what would we put a value on if they were bringing 600 jobs? So, you can get into a bidding war with a Franklin, Tennessee. You can get into a bidding war with some other, posh suburbs of larger cities. And, you never know where those numbers are going to go. And based on some other corporate reloads that we had seen, I thought that the incentive package was fair. And I understood it for some of the things they want to do to that building where they're going to be moving. And again, I think it plants a flag for Montgomery as being a place that doesn't lose its corporate decision makers, but that keeps them here and brings more of them here. And there was a time when Montgomery had several corporate headquarters. KinderCare was headquartered here. You had Union Bank. You had other entities that were headquartered here. Obviously Birmingham had a lot, but we lost out in the 90s and the 2000s and the mergers and acquisitions. Birmingham was a larger financial capital than Charlotte was. It's hard for people to remember. I always talk about Birmingham and Atlanta, talk about Birmingham and Charlotte. They lost out there, and so certainly Montgomery lost out as well in those decades. And for us to change our economic standing, not only in the state, you've got to have headquarters jobs, you've got to have back office jobs, you've got to have middle management jobs here. That's important. And building on that with securing your current corporate headquarters like Alpha is important, that you don't lose those type as you try to gain some others. And that goes with all the things that we do. A lot of people say, well, you make the big announcements about the jobs that are coming, but we try to make the announcements about those expansions that we're aware of too, because it's important for those homegrown businesses to feel that they have the city, local government support along with that of the council and the rest of the public sector and our government officials.
No, and I think we really are primed, but I think I don't have to explain to you. Obviously, I look at two just crucial things that will always be issues, even if it's just vigilance, education, and crime. And so, starting with education, I know you certainly have an opinion, though y'all obviously it's run by the board, it's run by the county. This superintendent search, it seemed like it was done not in the most transparent of ways, and
You're being kind.
I know I am. Sometimes I gotta be, or else I don't have any other words. They'll censor me. The FCC will. But I mean, what do you make of where we're going with education, in particular, this latest hire?
Wow. I don't know where we're going with education. I'll just be blunt with you. You know, I don't think the hire really brought about the type of confidence that people are looking for as you continue to try to improve on some of the progress that's been made after a lot of, backsliding, if you will. It's not the win the press conference type hire that I think, a lot of us would like to have. And that's unfortunate because education is inextricably tied to public safety. It's tied to our crime numbers, and it's tied to our economic development numbers. And when you don't have a school system that can boast and pound their chest about the great things that are coming, not that are happening, but that are to come, because people make investments, both individuals and corporations, on what your workforce is going to look like. What does the school system look like for their decision makers? It's not the best, decision that they made. I think, quite frankly, it's one of the worst that the school board has made in recent years, and that's unfortunate. And it's gonna be a setback for this community until we can get that board straight, the majority of the board, and until we can get the type of leadership that a city like ours not only needs but deserves. Right. And for us to be put in a situation as elected officials and the business community, those that want to see public schools succeed, want to see every student, every child reading at or above grade level, doing well in math and science and having a great time as they grow, it's problematic. And I'll say this, for those that, don't always understand, why is a mayor involved in education? It is tied, your economic future is tied to your education.
Yeah.
And there's no way around that for us, both those that work in the schools themselves, and obviously those young people that are coming through those schools that don't have a choice, many of them to go to a private school, and many of them to go to some other form of schooling, get another form of schooling. That's a challenge. And I think that's where we are right now, and that's unfortunate.
Now, the big lift would be to try to go to a city-based school system, though I think of like the fights going on right now in the south of our state, in Baldwin County, over county money and city money and those systems and how taxes split. And I'd imagine this is a huge lift. Do we even have the will or the financials or want to fight this out? But I mean, what sort of solutions are there? Maybe it is a city system. It might be counterintuitive. Well, you might disagree, say, philosophically, but could maybe, because we do already have a lot of private institutions, lean into the school choice stuff that's already out there. But because we do have the magnet system's fantastic, but then there's a big drop off. So as you just mentioned, there are a lot of folks who just don't have a choice. This is where they're zoned and this is where they go.
Yeah, and I think for us, we have to put all options on the table as city leaders and as community leaders. The future of Montgomery dictates the future of the region. So it's not even just a Montgomery issue. It's, are we setting the standard high for others that are in the river region in central Alabama? And if we're not, then we're going to continue to lag behind other regions in the state. And currently, right now, we're distant fourth. When you look at the I-20, I-59 corridor, and that's the Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anderson, Gaston corridor. You look at the North Alabama and what Huntsville obviously has been booming here for a number of years. And then obviously down in South Alabama with Mobile and the port, we're a distant fourth. So I'm competitive. If you haven't, gotten that, and being born and raised in Montgomery, I want to see Montgomery win as much as we can win. Nobody wants to see the city win more than I do, and this doesn't help us in that race of talent and resources that cities are dealing with, across not just the state, but really across the country. So we have to have everything on the table. And I think that with time running out with the legislative session, we'll be able to have community conversations. We'll be able to clarify and explain some things to community leaders about what the difference is in the city school system, what the pros and cons are of it relative to the county school system. But I think most importantly, the biggest asset is going to be the board of governance. That's going to be your board. Who appoints that board and what type of people you have on that board versus the majority, it seems like, that we've had on our recent school boards. And that's unfortunate. But we can't continue to ask students to lose out and hold up because the adults can't get it right. And I think when you have the city, the county, and the chamber, and most of your legislative delegation saying this isn't a good move, and you have one body that goes against the grain, irrespective of their need for collaboration, is short-sighted. And it's one that I think, doesn't provide the type of confidence in the leadership that's needed to get people to partner and invest in education. So if that is not, we have to educate young people. So therefore, we have to look at all options, regardless of how heavy that lift may be.
Now, moving on to the other big issue, it's crime. And you recently came out with a lot of numbers saying there's a drop in crime.
Substantial drop.
And I'll put it this way, there's a lot of folks that look at that and go, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so, and rather than being like, let me see your methodology and exactly the numbers, how do you take on this sense that it's, if I get robbed, if this is stolen from me, and I do wonder how much does go unreported in some cases, how do you take on that mentality that's out there? Even if you could say this stat shows this drop, there are still folks that kind of look at this and go, like it doesn't feel like we're going in the right direction still.
Well, listen, I understand that. Listen, our church was just broken into recently, and they, we got hit hard on that. Another church not far from us got hit hard on copper and wiring, that sort of thing. And as we kind of got into it, we know some other properties have been hit. So just property crime alone, right? That's not your personal space that's being violated, although it somewhat is. Crime is crime. And so when it happens to your church, or it happens to your business, or it happens to your home, much less to you, crime is up 100%. So I certainly understand that for those who've been victimized by it. Again, we're dealing with it right now, insurance, everything else that comes along with that. But I think when we look at the city, people tend to focus on the negative. People tend to focus on what's wrong as opposed to what's right. That's human nature. It doesn't matter. It's not just Montgomery. Again, I'm on enough national boards to talk to mayors across the country from all political ideologies. Next door is next door, regardless of where you live, it seems. Facebook is Facebook, regardless of where you live, it seems. And so, those that are angry and those that are frustrated and upset tend to say that the loudest and tend to say that the most often. So that impacts feel, right? People don't say it, I had a great day, nothing happened to me on Facebook. But when something happens, people report that, right? And that's understandable. But for us, when we see the significant numbers of, and we see the data, and I encourage everybody to, report whatever happens, whether it's a car break-in, much less if it's something more serious than that. We're proud of that. We're proud to see those numbers drop by 30%. We're proud to see robberies down 37%. Non-fatal shootings down about 20%. If we were gonna cook the books, we cook the books on some other things like homicides. We cook the books even more on non-fatal shootings and that sort of thing. So it doesn't do us any good to not report or not to go out and try to get every piece of data we can, because that forms our decision making. It forms our staffing. It forms our hiring, our retention. It forms everything that we do. It even forms our future investments, as we were talking about today with our CFO, when it comes to more investment in cameras, more investment in traffic cameras, security cameras, and even the usage of drones. We'll have a drone division next year to kind of make up for some of the things that we're seeing. So we're going to do everything we can to make the city safer. We're going to report the numbers, whether they're good or bad. We're going to make sure that people understand where things are right now, and the fact that regardless of where the drop is, we're not going to rest. We don't sleep any longer or kick back anymore because we see a drop in the month of April versus the month of March, or the month of March in 2025 versus 2024. It is what it is. It just says this is where we are, and now maybe we tweak that to see how we can improve in some other areas. It may be traffic enforcement. Again, it may be those property crimes. And then certainly, again, it's solving those homicides and making sure that for a number that is too high, in my opinion, and one homicide would be too high, but certainly to see that be slightly up year over year is problematic given the effort and energy we're putting into violence prevention and to violence intervention as well.
Well, and a lot of that, if it works, and I'm not saying it won't, it takes some time.
It does.
And I got two quick questions and a bigger one on the same issue. Number one, I'd imagine the work, cooperation with the county and with Aaliyah continues.
It does.
Very good. And it seems like I think the legislature's it worked so well here, they're copying it for Birmingham and essentially creating more resources.
Yeah,
So
I think it creates that force multiplier, which is what we're all looking for.
And then what are our force levels today, though, within MPD?
Not what we like them to be. They're improving. Chief Gray Boys is doing very well and making sure that we get out these signing bonuses and we get out the starting pay. And I think the community is also helping us as well, letting people know the type of leadership we have, the type of support that's there, the type of investments in equipment and training that have been made for our police department. So we've seen our largest class coming in, going through training right now. And we're seeing even more applicants for the next class. So what we have to do in order to rebuild those numbers, continue to grow the application pool, to grow that civilian policing pipeline, and to make sure that even those the cadet programs and some of the things that Sheriff Cunningham had been doing that MPD stopped doing for a while, Chief Gray Boys has brought back, gets people in that pipeline earlier and keeps them there, even if they have a little hiccup. We've been ones who would maybe weren't the best at retaining some applicants if they had a little issue, and they would go to work for another law enforcement agency for something minor. Now we're saying, hey, let's come back and let's try to correct that. Let's keep you in the pipeline. Let's get you on some paperwork. Let's keep you engaged in the other aspects of law enforcement until you can go through and get APOS certified and complete that training that we need to get you out on the street.
Where would you like to be ideally? Well, I mean, I guess for years it was in the 490s, but
yeah, you won't see that. I mean, we're not even budgeted for that anymore. We'd like to be in the mid 3s.
Okay.
Ideally.
And we're not there.
No, we're not. We want to get there, but again, we want to get there the right way. We've had, some that have come in that we've had to dismiss from training. So that's always important too.
Fair enough. And here's the bigger question, because I think the bonuses, the pay bonuses, the pay raises. I talked with Counselor Szymanski about this. Everybody seemed to be in agreement about how we're going to get you a great deal to own a home and have stake if you come work in law enforcement. I think all this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is a critique that I didn't come up with. As you know, David Thrasher puts out these big emails.
Who?
So it's just, I really want your reaction to this sentiment, is that despite all the good things.
What you read, man.
Oh, that's too far gone, mister. Way too far gone. I don't talk about the half of it.
People outside City Hall telling me what's happening inside City Hall.
Right. No, but here's the sentiment. Just want your reaction. That we do have the right incentives out there. It looks like we're going in the right direction. They like the new chief. But that, say somebody is looking to join law enforcement in Montgomery, they go, well, that's great pay, low cost of living. Actually, I could own a home there. I could raise a family there. But then they call up, say, law enforcement organizations in the area. And the law enforcement organizations say, yeah, well, this mayor's been through 2 chiefs. He doesn't have your back if you make a mistake. And that, I guess my question is this, not just a reaction to that, but how do you bridge that gap from folks who might be saying stuff like that?
Listen, I don't apologize. I believe in churn. So number one, if you inherited one, right? So kind of toward the end, where that's concerned. So the second chief, I guess, that's a personal mistake that in this political environment, I don't know if he would have gotten in trouble anymore, given the folks that we have occupying certain offices around the country. So maybe it wasn't such a big deal. Maybe I should have just turned a blind eye. Maybe that would have been a little bit better. But when you consider the fact that we have given 39% increases in police pay, that has never, ever, even under the grand old Mayor Emory Farmer, ever happened in the city of Montgomery. When you consider the millions of dollars that we put into equipment through being aggressive and going after grants and funding, new cars, things along those lines. We still got some old ones we got to get off the street. But things along those lines, that's never happened. So anyone saying that, the mayor doesn't have your back, that's somebody who's got a political trope, and that's what they're using, because the facts quite simply don't back that up. We're going to make sure that we got the right people in place. We don't apologize for having a high standard. We don't do things the way they did them in the 80s, but we don't have some of the problems they had in the 80s. And I know around here, people tend to wipe over the issues, but again, for a son of Montgomery, I hadn't forgotten a lot of those issues, nor have a lot of people who used to be on that same police force forgotten a lot of those issues. So I hear from them too about things they wish they had now. But again, as we were talking about earlier, the negative tends to carry the social media cycles these days.
Sure.
We don't tend to, the algorithms aren't as kind to, it's a great sunny day outside as it is, well, damn it, there's a storm happening, right outside my door. Those things tend to happen. But we also understand that for some, you're never going to do enough, and that's understandable. But I think for people who are looking for a great opportunity and challenge in police work, then it's right here in Montgomery. Now, that's not the same as some other places. And so I tell people all the time, no different. I tell them coming to City Hall, if you think this government is one that's laid back and it's one that's lazy, this ain't the administration for you. If you want one that's status quo, this isn't it. We're coming in to create change and to make an impact. And I think over 5 years, the proof is in the pudding where that's concerned. And so we'll continue to work to improve, our numbers, but more importantly, we want to get the right people. And we want them to have the right purpose of why they're choosing law enforcement. And with these other initiatives, not only working with the state and federal partners, but with working in violence prevention, I think that will help us continue to drive crime numbers down. And I double cross my fingers that I hope it drives those homicides down, because that certainly is a number that's still problematic for me, even with some of the other positive trends that we're seeing. But we won't stop. We know summer's coming up. Things tend to happen, and we'll have to kind of adjust our strategy where that's concerned.
Well, I appreciate your time. I know you got to run, but appreciate the answers too. And let's do it again soon next month.
Hey, I look forward to it. It's always good.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
I'm Jim Smith with Adams Drugs, and what our customers say about our business is the most important advertising tool. I'm here with Ronnie Taunton, who is a longtime customer of Adams Drugs, moved away for 3 years, and came back to town recently. Ronnie, how easy was it to move your business back to Adams Drugs?
Jim, it was very easy. All we did was make a phone call to the store in Prattville, and that's where we live now, and they took it from there, and I didn't do anything else.
What has your overall experience been like here at Adams Drugs?
Well, we are glad to be back with Adams. We've had quite an experience in some towns we lived in, and they have great service. You can tell that the employees are glad to be there to serve you, and I couldn't ask for any more. Whatever formula the Vinson family has, they need to keep it in a safe place because it's certainly working.
Come into any of our 12 Adams Drugs locations. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net to find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriff'sYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Hi, everybody. Finally, rain has left our forecast, at least for a little while, for a few days. Tonight will be partly cloudy, dry and mild. Overnight low temperature down to about 63. Tomorrow, the warming trend begins with Wednesday's high up to about 87, mostly sunny skies. How about lower 90s? Feeling like summertime on Thursday and Friday with lots of sunshine. And the next chance of showers and thunderstorms arriving again on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days, how you doing?
Hey, doing pretty good. That was an informative interview as usual with our mayor, and he took a gig at old former Mayor 100 Emery Farmer, but what he didn't touch on was that Alpha had been here all through Mayor Farmer's regime, and they never once wanted to leave the city. So why are they wanting to leave the city, and how much are they having to give them to stay?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and my take on that is you can pick that fight, but unless you're Alabama Power, Blue Cross Blue Shield, good luck.
Well, exactly. And I mean, to me, that's the bigger question is why they wanted to leave after they've been here for all these years.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to leave the city, okay, but just to move to the other side of town to get away from crime, the kudzu creep that's going to them.
Right.
And on another subject, when you brought up the 490 number, that number is dead. It will never be here again because he does not want that number. He wants less police officers, and the 200 range that we're out right now. The continual drain, the continual retirement, the continual that you never catch up. But he doesn't want to get that 490 number again. And so, I think you're beating a dead horse by trying to get him to go there because he doesn't want. He wants less police. He depoliced, and here we are.
Yeah, no, and it's a matter, I think, of bringing all sorts of different parties together. And even if you're creating the right incentive packages and offering pretty good things financially and otherwise, if you got a local law enforcement folks kind of dogging you out, that's not good. And there's got to be some way to bridge the divide. I don't know how to do that. It just seems like that's the problem. If you touch it, that's the problem right there. And there's only so long too. Like the state government, there's a reason they're continuing to back these crime suppression units with Aaliyah and with sheriffs that in particular here, and they don't want downtown Montgomery to have a huge problem, especially around the state building.
No, and that's the same thing they did in Austin, Texas. When they tried to depolice and the state stepped in and said, no, not so fast. This is where the state government is, and they're going to be protected. But it always just tickles me to hear him talk about, why they need and why he's gotten them more money, why he's gotten them more benefits, why he's gotten them more equipment. But if you go right across the street, right down the hill to the sheriff's department, he doesn't have any problems attracting folks. Mm-hmm. And so whether it's the county commission, whether it's the sheriff, people leave MPD and go over there for a reason because they know the sheriff and the county commission backs them.
Well, we'll see. And also, I'm trying to share the sentiment. Like, you listen to the show. I don't talk about this every day. I'm not trying to drive the car on this stuff. But I do pay attention to what people are saying, not just the negative. And it's like, it just seems like, why are the numbers so freaking low? And maybe it's by design.
Well, I truly believe that if he wanted to get those numbers up, if he stood on the front steps of the police department and said, I will support you, I will back you. If you make an honest mistake, we will be there with you, but we will not tolerate anything else. And if he sent that message out the same way he sends the message out about all the other things that he wants accomplished, then you build it, they'll come.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
have a good day, Joey.
Appreciate it, Simpler Days. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Again, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder. They're at Dillon Rings. As I spoke to you about earlier in the show, they're showcasing that emerald is the birthstone for May. So maybe you're a May baby, maybe you know somebody who is, and you want to get them a beautiful birthstone-based piece of jewelry. They can do that for you there at Dillon Rings. It could be some custom design work, which is second to none. Josh Ryder, that man, he knows what he is doing. He can create incredible stuff. Even if you just dream it up, he can make it for you. Of course, they probably have some great emerald-based stuff, as well as many other things in inventory. Leslie puts together a great showcase there, from high-end jewelry items to those everyday items that still look great but don't necessarily break the bank. But it could be you're looking for something like an appraisal or something like a repair. Maybe it's not fully broke, but a certain gemstone isn't fully seated, isn't fully secured. You don't want that falling out when you're not paying attention and you lose it. They can do that sort of repair work there at Dillon Rings. And of course, they can also do spa treatments. Maybe you have a favorite piece of jewelry that you wear all the time, and it looks like you wear it all the time. It looks like you wear it every day. But what if that favorite item of yours could be spruced up, made to shine and shimmer like it's brand new all again? Well, they can do that for you there at Dillon Rings. And I'm just scratching the surface. You got to get by there to learn more. Get by there at 119 Brown Springs Road, sort of where the old Fun Zone used to be, off Atlanta Highway, the back end entrance to the big AUM complex. Before you know it, before you even get close to AUM, it's going to be right there on your left. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Let me check to see if there's anything that's been breaking while I've been talking with the mayor here. Tuberville, the top story there at 1819news.com. Tuberville on spending cuts for Trump's big, beautiful bill. Tuberville saying we cannot pass a bill that does not have cuts in it. Spending cuts will have to be paired with President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill of tax cuts, according to Tommy Tuberville. So as we heard from Ron Johnson about, how you might want to break up this big, beautiful bill into 3 tranches. I don't love that idea because Johnson wants to put the big promises on the campaign trail last as the third item and all that. It seems like Tuberville is saying, no, actually, we should stick to this one big bill idea. So there's a lot of back and forth there, but it looks like Tuberville was on recently with Larry Kudlow. So let's play a little bit of Coach. We're still wondering, by the way, when is Coach going to make that big announcement when it comes to whether he's running for re-election in the Senate or running for governor of the great state of Alabama? I suppose we'll see by the end of this month. Looks like Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth is in it to win it in the governor's race. He's said it flat out. I'm not interested in running for Senate. So the plot thickens there. But here is Coach on with Larry Kudlow, I believe earlier today, answering some of these questions about this one big, beautiful bill.
All right, welcome back to the show. The great Alabama Senator, Mr. Tommy Tuberville. Senator Tuberville, welcome, sir, as always. Charles Payne was on in the first segment of the show, and he was talking about Pax Americana and, listing things that Mr. Trump is getting done. India, Pakistan, perhaps a ceasefire deal, the last American hostage being released by Hamas, the potential for, Zelensky-Putin meeting. Trump himself might broker it. President Trump will be in the Middle East, and maybe something's cooking with Iran. Is there a Pax Americana back on? Is Mr. Trump reordering the chaos of the world under Biden into something resembling, peace and prosperity and America first?
Yeah, Larry, don't forget about the Abraham Accords. I think that might be one of the reasons he's going to see the Saudis and bounce around the Middle East. But I don't know how he keeps up with it. It's hard for us here in the States to keep up with what's going on, from the tariffs to the wars to the great big beautiful bill. It's mind-boggling, but I'm enjoying every bit of it. The Democrats are running for cover. We dealt for 4 years with somebody that had no negotiation skills. Now we got somebody that just loves to do it. He eats and breathes it, and we're so fortunate to have President Trump as president.
So think about this on the home front, I guess, but it's also international affairs. Basically, in the same 4 or 5 day period, we got a very good trade deal with the United Kingdom, and we have a 90-day pause and a significant easing of tariffs with China and the U.S. What do you make of that?
Well, and there's about 30 to 35, Larry, I know for a fact, that are lined up ready to make deals with the United States. We're controlling it, and we should. You know, we're the grocery store of the world. You know, we make everything in terms of being able to make it available to other people. Now, we've got to get in the manufacturing business again. That's what President Trump's doing all this for. But we've got to be choosy with it. But in my state of Alabama, I have people coming every day about new manufacturing ideas. We want to move it here from either Ireland or Germany. It is amazing how much busier we are here in the Senate as Republicans of wanting to bring things back, and on the contrary of what the Democrats just tried to say, no, we don't want you here. We want to raise all of our food out of the country, put our farmers out of business. It is totally different than what it was 6 months ago.
So nobody really talks much about it, but President Trump has raised $4 or $5 trillion for American investment. He's going to the Middle East and so forth. He'll probably raise, I don't know, a couple $1 trillion more. I'm just guessing, but that's part of the deal. The tax changes, the tax policy coming out of the Ways and Means Committee will provide incentives for those people who invest in the United States. So there's a tide of onshoring that seems to be coming not only from foreign relations and trade relations, but also just tax incentive relations. So where, you know, this is unheard of. This is unseen. It all goes hand in glove. Trump is taking advantage of this. What do you make of it? Can it all pass the Senate? I guess that's my final thought. Is it going to get through the Senate?
Well, all the tax incentives normally come from the states, in which they still do. President Trump's doing it on a national level. You know, the opportunity zones, all those things that he's put into place. But right now they're negotiating, you know, Medicare, Medicaid, all the things that everybody are a little bit worried about. But always remember this. There's really, as we've looked at all this, it's all about reform. We have algorithms now that can go into the Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid that can be hooked up to these machines that can make sure that we can cut out all this fraud and all this nonsense with people getting on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid that shouldn't be on it. We're not in the 20th century. This is the 21st century, and all those things will kick in this year. You don't hear much talk about AI in that area, but Larry, we will get it passed. It's going to be tough. We have to get cuts. We cannot pass a bill that does not have cuts in it. We've got to cut back somewhere close to the 2019 budget, and if we don't do that, I don't know how we can save the country, but President Trump is all for that, but he wants to do it in the right spots.
But Senator Tuberville, you know, able-bodied young men should not be on Medicaid. They should not be on Medicaid. And the expansion of eligibility. So that,
I guess the word is, gentlemen, don't be able-bodied. I get Kudlow's point. Let's see what Tuberville has to say here.
that's not a cut, really, sir. That's enforcing the eligibility mandate, which Barack Obama tried to break. Now you all have a chance to put it back together again. And Medicaid is still going to grow significantly. It's just going to grow by slightly less. It's not really a cut. It's just a slowdown in the phenomenal bankrupting growth.
Well, illegals on Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Everything that goes along with people that, as you said, are sitting around at home watching The View on television, getting SNAP cards, food stamps, and on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. That's got to be over with. Our country's not going to make it. We cannot afford that to happen. And President Trump is all about that. That's what the House is pushing very hard. All the reforms that you just talked about have to be in there, but we cannot afford to take care of the world. Let's take care of the people in this country first, and then we might be able to help outside our borders.
Actually, we cut taxes and spending and have an investment-led boom, and onshoring, the rest of the world might copy us. That's what happened under Reagan. Anyway, Senator Tommy Tuberville, thank you, sir. As always.
Again, Tuberville doing that hit with Kudlow, and pretty simpatico with other things I've been hearing coming out. But the fact that there still is this back and forth, this big fight, how do you actually get down to 2019 spending levels while also providing these tax cuts? I think as you just heard Kudlow say, you cut spending, you cut taxes, you let the boom happen. And it is still nuts, too, that they're not counting tariff revenue against any of this scoring. It's like, we don't live in reality in Washington, D.C. Washington lives in its own reality. They can't even do budgeting in a straight up way. It's always some game with the numbers. How about this? Let's hit this break. Hopefully we'll have Ray Bowles on the line after.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is James Jones with Jones Drugs. We've got locations in Prattville, Millbrook, Greenville, and Montgomery, and soon to be Phoenix City. My dad told me once if I wanted the whole world to know anything, to tell my aunt. Well, I don't have my aunt here, but I've got the next best thing, Blue Water Broadcasting. They have helped us grow the Jones Drug family in this area for over 10 years. Thank you, Blue Water.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folk helping local business.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bell's today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bell's Cleaning River Region.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Powering through the show, and I'm almost there. 3 o'clock's almost here.
You're almost there. You're almost there, brother. I've not got a chance to listen to work. I keep forgetting about the app. I'm up here in Talladega today.
Well, and also you can always you don't even have to watch. You can just listen to Joey Clark live on YouTube.
Yeah, either way. And I did not do it. My apologies. I'll make sure that won't happen again. After telling on myself. But hey, if y'all want a extremely good floor at extremely good pricing with the best installers, call us at 285-8117. And then you won't be having to apologize for trying to take a shortcut. You know how it is when you try to save 10 cents and it costs you $1 every time.
There you go. And also, I mean, give Ray the added bonus of getting out and actually being able to go somewhere. He goes stir crazy. He's just sitting there at the office.
I can't do it. I don't know how, I just don't know how you're in that chair for 3 or 4 hours at a time.
Now, have you found a way, before I let you go, have you found a way to, because, you were singing Sailor's praises, she's not quite graduated yet, but on that path, it's impending, it's imminent. Is there a way that you still try to embarrass her?
You know what? We had a thing at church the other night. We had to write speech. And I told Angie I would handle it, and she threw mine in the garbage, and she did it. So, no, I've not figured that out yet.
You almost got it in there. Almost.
I almost got it in there. She was dreading it. She's like, you don't have to do it. I'm like, I'm great with that. You know me, I can talk in public. And she saw what I was going to say. She's like, nope, I got it. So me and Taylor just stood on stage, quietly watching Mama brag on her girls. I'll tell her with something.
Well, again, folks, 285-8117. When you call them up, be sure to say, hey, heard Ray Bowles on the radio with that Joey Clark fellow.
Hey, y'all have a great day.
Appreciate you, Ray. Pamela is here. I don't have a camera set up for you, but how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Like no more rain today? Thank God.
I like rainy days.
Yeah?
But yeah, it's nice today.
Wait,
I can't complain.
You like rainy days?
Yeah, of course.
Like you're only happy when it rains?
No, not that. I like to drive with the windows down and listen to music, so I like a day like today.
Yeah. Wait, there are some folks that they just want to sit under their blanket, watch the rain come down, and listen to the Smiths or something like that.
Yeah, it's not that serious for me.
Okay.
I like to sit under the porch and read.
Oh.
while I can hear the rain, on the roof.
What have you been reading these days?
Nothing serious.
Oh wait, it can't be even talked about.
Like
Harlequin romance novels or something?
No, I mean I do have some of those from my grandma, but no, I haven't cracked one of those open in a while. I read a book on Mother's Day. I can fly through a book. I'm a fast reader.
Nice. Just like sight, like just see
Yeah.
it, see the page, see the paragraph.
Pretty quick. Yeah, I've always kind of been an accelerated reader, but I read one of those Colleen Hoover like book talk books. I got influenced.
I don't know who Colleen Hoover is.
It is like modern Harlequin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is why I just asked you what you're reading and you got all bashful all of a sudden.
Well, because it wasn't like either or, or
I'm
anything
just
serious.
Yeah, no, and it is interesting the difference between men and women, where men are like so like just it's gross like visual based stuff, whereas women are it's usually more the story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a PG read, but
Right. But even a book, like you're just reading words on a page and you're like, man, I'm
yeah, women are
take a cold
yeah,
shower.
Women are much more of a reader, that
Right.
kind of thing.
It just
But-
seems like so like like, oh, Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence. What a seductive book and a sensual read. And then you just see the modern media and what's out there today. And it's like, that's child's play.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's getting better or worse. I think kind of worse in a certain way.
Yeah.
And in a minute, I can't even believe I'm going to bring this up. I wish he had shown up a little earlier because
Why?
I had this thought this morning. I haven't talked about it on air yet, but you are aware of the new Ye song, the new Kanye West song.
No.
You have not heard it.
No.
Oh my God. It is very transgressive.
Really?
They don't understand the things I say on Twitter. N-word, Heil.
Oh, no way.
And then he said, yeah, Hitler.
What?
And
I
it's
mean,
like,
yeah,
and
no.
it's like, whoa, it's over the top. And I'm like, also in this day and age, somebody put it to Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik dancing to it. And it is a catchy beat, but it's also like, what is happening? And I had the thought this morning of like, I think we passed the taboos of like sex, like all the taboos that were once there, they've been shredded to pieces. And I've
Yeah.
always wondered what's the next thing to push the envelope.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just like outright saying incredibly like anti-Semitic things. But then when you listen to the song, it's all the whole beginning verse is like, y'all just don't understand me. You're trying to control me, trying to say what I can say. So and he just
acting
repeats
out.
that.
He's acting out.
And I'm like, man, what an odd time we live in. It's incredibly bizarre.
It is. And that's like a mainstream release. It's probably going to trend on TikTok.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
people are
no, it's
crazy.
already, well, they've removed it from all major streaming platforms.
Really?
Yeah. Which is,
Well,
yay, being like
I
kind of my
mean-
point.
Right.
I don't know. I'm wondering, like, obviously the guy's got issues mentally, but I am still wondering what's he up to?
I have heard, this is a conspiracy, that he it's his clone or his body double that's out now.
I love
Because he
those.
came out and said, if I ever disappear, when I come back, it won't be me.
I love the day after January 6th, somebody called me up
Mm-hmm.
and it was off air. I wish it had been on air. And he said, Joey, I just found out the Pope has been arrested and the Pope that you're seeing isn't really the Pope. I'm like, where'd you get that from? I don't know. I just heard it somewhere. And it was like,
gosh.
oh, I love this. This is wonderful. So maybe the guy coming up with the new stuff is not actually Kanye himself.
I do think they have body doubles. A lot.
Oh,
of-
I think
a
some rich and
lot
famous
of them
definitely do.
have
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate you stopped by for a second. Happy hour with Greg Budell. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.